Really?
But it was
I'm sorry you couldn't come to my crutch.
because it made, I remember the chicken as a
Your color was
yeah.
I will get you your.
The colors were all wrong.
Anyway.
We always have the chair straight, and then you get into it. You have to side step. And both legs have to go under the table. I'll get you your dinner. Get this one under there. Everybody helps themselves except for.
That's okay.
Well, you know, it's not, the trouble is that we have to leave, that's the trouble. You know, we could just stay here, we'd be happy.
Yes. Well.
Oh my God. Where's my seat? Looks like it's over there, but there's no one glass. Is this me?
Mm-hmm.
If I put my glass there, that'll be mine.
You need a chair, yes.
Oh, I need a chair too. I'll get a chair.
I'll get a number so you can sit in my right.
No, but there are 3 seats, and there are only 2 chairs. I mean, there are 3 place settings.
Oh, well, just bring one of those in the
They'll
middle.
bring that one, yeah. Yes, rather than from the living room. Or,
Do you want a glass of water?
That is,
Mhm,
that's
please.
Jess.
Gustavo, have you seen this picture I did of Lycoma? Over here. I did that when I was 17.
Or maybe 15.
David, what kind of wine are you going to prefer?
Red. Please. This is a very nice wine, by the way.
This is a very simple dinner.
How's that?
But it's perfect with your rice pot.
Oh,
Have to sit here because I haven't had a chance to talk about it.
Okay.
Put your left foot, put your right foot under your left foot, right foot under your left foot. We make it do it because we my right hand knee.
Good.
Oh, we need napkins. Nick? Nick? Yeah. We need napkins? I'm happy to,
Okay. That's it. And this is the way we communicate these days. Comcast. This is Gustavo. It's my first name. Gustavo. Gustavo. And Rosana.
Oh, and salad. Where's the salad?
That's been a pleasure to talk to you. I wish we had more time, but and how long have I been?
I'm giving you a spoon as well, so that you can catch up some of the gravy.
7 minutes by car from here. How good is
You have to wait till I start.
I don't know.
I think we should have the salad on the table because not everybody took it.
Oh,
I snatched it.
Very good thinking, very good thinking.
what part of it?
Oh.
You were not here in February because you were otherwise engaged when I invited you to the soiree I organized on the Saturday after the Friday night of my arrival. Hello, Gretel. Darling, how are you, sweetheart? You know,
Pat, could you please start?
no, I'm just waiting until everybody gets here. I'm waiting for the salad. Who's bringing the salad?
Oh, should I bring it out?
Please.
I will do that.
If you entertain as often as I do,
Oh,
everybody
you do?
has to help out.
Yes, oh.
I fear. Gretchen, darling, I fear I didn't take. Do you know that mushrooms are very anti-cancer?
Oh, they are?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Consequently, I cook with a great many mushrooms. Because I do like them.
I like them too. Do you do different sorts?
Normally, if I had done the shopping,
Uh-huh.
I would have bought wonderful 3 different kinds.
Yeah, they're amazing.
Where are we all
Amazing.
sitting? Where am I?
Would you care?
I guess it's in-
Probably where you please.
Thank you.
Well, you had
Well, they're,
the other,
okay, I think
the
you
other
said-
night when you
It looks like you don't have a choice.
Where is the salad?
It's right there.
Oh, good. Gustavo, could you pass the
I've had
salad?
salad, I've had salad.
I've had salad. I think everybody's had.
Yes, you have to, I have some too.
I guess only
left you
James,
very
only
little.
James and you have not had salad.
Oh dear, I didn't make a great deal.
Do I want,
Well, once again, to our gracious host.
Yes.
oh, I'm gonna try this.
I just want to warn you, on the night of
On
my passage from this world to the next, I hope to have you all here.
Oh, I hope so. I hope we'll be
Because
here.
I intend to receive my friends at the very end.
That's the
I
best.
do not care for restaurants. I was subjected to them for many years.
Oh, really?
Oh,
You mean by your
Lord.
parents or
no. David.
David?
No.
Oh, okay.
Suffered from a disease I call restaurantitis. We spent as much as $30,000 a year on restaurants.
You were complicit,
Quite a
Mom.
lot. I went.
You were
He'd say,
complicit.
"What's for dinner?" And I'd say, and he said, I'm not in the mood for that. And out we go. And in Normandy, it was no joke. I mean, Paris was one thing, but Normandy, it was sometimes very hard to find a restaurant.
Oh, well, at least what little I had of restaurant fare was pretty good in Normandy.
Oh,
It's harder
occasionally.
to have a bad meal in France, isn't it?
It's much easier than it used to be. I regret to say that the food is better here.
Really?
All right.
Oh, this is delicious.
Thank you.
James, do you want salad?
No, James, do have some salad.
What? Oh, so, the rest of us are.
Well, I'm just back from 4 days in Dallas.
Oh, how's
In
home?
Dallas.
Big deal.
What was the reason to go to Dallas? What's in Dallas?
I gave 2 talks.
Hmm.
One at the Crow Collection of Asian Art and one at the opening of the Islamic Art Revival Series exhibition of contemporary art.
Wow.
The,
Sounds very important.
What were the topics?
the first topic was actually a rather old topic of mine, which is the cashmere shawl in Persia, 17th and 19th centuries. The second topic, they invited me, I thought I was going to be part of like sort of I thought it was like a symposium or something. It turned out that though they had a series of speakers, I was the speaker at the opening. I had no idea. But when they contacted me out of the blue, I said, well, you know, I can't address contemporary art of, you know, the Islamic world, because I really have only the most modest. And so the only topic I could come up with, which I thought somehow had very broad resonance, was the prayer rug.
Well, I think that was a brilliant choice.
But addressed in a very broad sense of the you know, history and imagery and, you know, sort of everything about the devotional practice and everything else. And they accepted it, but I was kind of crazed for a while preparing this thing out of, you know, so research and rather belatedly realized that I didn't have any of the images for the PowerPoint. And so for my last 3 weeks was in a state of totally crazed preparation. Bless their hearts, the Metropolitan Museum came up with 16 images for me.
Oh, wonderful.
But the hospitality was incredible. I had the most amazing time. the, my hosts, this is to say the people I stayed with for 4 days, were Pakistani American. But they had been here so long that they met in California in the 80s. This is a couple. That they'd spent 23 years in Saudi Arabia working for Aramco. And they'd only come to Dallas 2 years ago. But she was this incredible artist who did work in many media and was obviously had an incredible gift for mastering technique. And her husband, who was of sort of more pedestrian inclinations, nevertheless was a great American movie buff. He loved American movies, and he had a eidetic memory for dialogue in films, and so which is like the antithesis of yours truly, who only remembers images. And so he would like say, oh, and then so he would come up, some movie topic would come up, he'd say, oh, and then he would start reeling off dialogue. This is really strange. He also loved American figures of speech, so he was.
Oh, Randall, I hardly took any chicken, but I have a little bit here for you.
It's French, he's like, about to leave. I'm like, do you have your passport? It's not like France.
They-
You just
you're-
walk
you're
into
the
a bar
one
and start
person.
drinking.
Yeah.
They card you.
Is that?
No, but I mean, well, he's
Wonderful.
Nick, I was carded up until my 29th year. That's the last time I was carded.
My
was
own
at
feeling
age
is
29.
when in doubt, do Bordeaux, and it seems to.
Where is James? Oh, there.
I mean, they asked for the card, that doesn't count getting carded at the supermarket. You know?
No, I'm,
Because they card.
no, I'm talking about in bars in
Yeah.
Chicago.
Yeah.
Supermarkets, everybody. Even I get sometimes.
Yes, right, the Whole Foods, the big Whole Foods. Yes,
That's
right,
just- that's
right,
just-
you're there.
No, I'm talking about the old days, long
Yeah,
ago.
those are the good old days.
But that was
I guess they
when,
have
that
to
was
put
when
something
the
in
drinking
the
age was
computer.
19.
Why don't they can't just make it up?
Nicholas, where are you guys with your knapsack?
I gotta show them some stuff that I'm working on.
How could you
Oh.
not be old enough, any of us, to we're not marginal. That way, it's all right. Trader Joe's doesn't help you. This whole thing.
I did not.
Yeah. Bye-bye. Goodbye.
Trader Joe's doesn't
You have
help
it,
you.
yes?
Just Whole Foods.
I'll spend money.
Good, thank you.
I'll spend money on it.
Otherwise, I get a cold, and I have to come down the stairs.
So did you see Dallas, as it were, as such?
The big V.
Well, I saw some of it, I was driven in and out of Dallas repeatedly, so I sort of, in that sense, I saw Dallas.
Well,
I-
that sounds like a very Texas experience.
I
right?
also,
By road.
my host lived 45 minutes out of the downtown. I also, a friend of mine is a professor of modern contemporary Islamic art at the University of North Texas at Denton, and she's an Iraqi American, and I've known her for a long time. Anyway,
It's
so-
almost in Oklahoma.
so she and
Really?
Denton is pretty close to Dallas.
Is it really? Oh, no. I don't know, I haven't been to either place, I just imagine.
Anyway, she missed both of my lectures because she'd invited a young assistant professor who I know at Berkeley to speak at her university the day I gave my first talk. Oh, I never told you, you'd asked what my talks were, and I never answered. Oh, well, I answered Paras was the main one, because that was the one for the big event.
Uh-huh.
The other one was the cashmere shawl in Persia, 17th and 19th century, at the Crow Museum of Asian Art.
If you go to the Dallas Museum,
Yeah? I did.
my classmate Harry Parker You know,
Just retired, or just left being president.
you know, he raised something like $10 million with a bond to get that off the ground.
Oh, I bet he made more than, I bet he raised more than that.
You know, these old school ties, they're like tentacles, they reach out most incredibly.
No, I went there, they got he, before he left, arranged to attract the third largest private collection of Islamic art to Dallas.
Is that right?
But on 15-year loan with the possibility of renewal and permanent.
Oh,
Yes.
boy.
From somebody in Texas?
No, from somebody in England. The,
You know, do you remember that place in the museum where they have, it's sort of dedicated to Coco Chanel, and they have her.
oh, no, I missed that part. I was, because,
They even got her chaise lounge and
you're kidding me.
you know, her slippers on right at the foot of it.
It's amazing what museums will do to get major gifts. But because I was principally there to see the Cure collection of Islamic art with these friends and colleagues, and I also wanted to see their Indonesian and African art, but I had to rush through them. It's actually a pretty damn good museum.
And I thought it was quite good.
Isn't
You
that the
know, I
one where
have
they
very little
built a
memory of it.
building
I must have
just
been there.
opposite it that?
We were there
that
together,
was
I'm
collecting
sure, but
stuff
I seem
no,
to
I'm just like,
absolutely eclipsed
That's
that experience.
the new museum. They built
But I
a
had no
building
old school ties to
opposite, or in some way, so that
the person who was the director
there
or
was
whatever.
reflected light
You know,
into the museum.
And maybe I
because of
didn't go
trouble.
because with
Oh, no,
Cardinal,
I don't know, I wasn't there long
we
enough
went out to
and I wasn't being guided by people informed enough.
another university
About that
just
kind of thing.
outside of Dallas where
You remember that
SMU.
story?
I
It's
gave
in
a
New York
reading
Times. I mean,
and
I
a
only know
talk,
it
and
from
she-
reading it in the New York
It was
Times.
actually a
They were-
Southern Methodist.
Answer
The
questions.
architect
And
who
she
Southern
was-
Methodist, had
Yes, Southern
oriented
Methodist.
the
That's probably where I was
museum
when
to
you went
get
to the
certain
museum. No
light,
wonder I had
and
no
that
memory of
building.
it.
Oh,
Came
on
right
the way.
away, got in the way, and it was the reflected light or something. I can't remember the
Know
name.
nothing about it. Know nothing.
How
about
is
it.
that wine? Is that good?
It's
Nice, very nice.
Very
Good.
nice.
This is delicious.
The white one.
Thank you. Well, with your rice, it's a great success.
Trader Joe's.
Well, rice is
Oh,
nothing.
Trader Joe's.
It's quite a lot, really. Because it's so much better out of a rice pot. I did buy a rice pot for our Paris apartment. Somehow or other, when we moved, it wasn't there.
So Gustavo, you found common topics of interest
It
with
took
our
me that
French
long to get around
visitor.
to,
You know,
because
since
I mean,
none of
I've
you,
always
so,
enjoyed your rice pot, rice.
did you talk about
I love it because
his
it's infallible.
architecture work
It
at
is,
all?
not only is it infallible, but it's just perfect. I mean, it's just dry, you know, the way it should
But
be.
he's working with
Not, you know,
groups of people in the northern France and in
Well, you
very
don't have to,
impoverished
to
communities.
use,
to try to
measuring
use,
cups or anything, with this, you just put your finger in.
create
Have I told you
programs
this?
to
Or
help
with
people
that
out
kind
with
of
their
that's how I do rice,
So
when
that-
I'm good.
Where
create
is it?
some
You have your finger and then you put your
programs
finger on
in
top of the rice.
Yes.
That's the same for the rice pot. Then it's
Not too far from
perfect.
where you were.
So I arrived okay with
But
rice,
it's a
but,
community
you
that
know, I
is the
particularly
poorest in
like
France.
the
Really?
individuality
Where
of
is
each
that?
trade,
I mean,
you
what,
know.
I mean,
I've
you've
been-
been to visit Pat and David a few times. What's
So
that?
is this
Do you know where it is?
residential
No.
housing or development work? Or both?
It's more development now of housing by development of
I can't believe you're drinking red white wine, you
organization
normally drink red wine.
among the people who
I mean,
live there.
You're being
And
different.
he's
I'm being
given
different.
money by the
It's
state
okay.
to try to create programs which will bring people together.
Did you find anything
and
out
so they
about
can
the,
cooperate and
party
cells out
for
of,
Bernie
out
Sanders.
of the situation.
When-
that-
I'm
So
not
it
aware,
sounds-
but there
sounds
was
more like
something a
sociological
week ago
work than
Saturday.
architectural work as
So
such.
there is something
The
Tuesday, I
architecture
guess
sure
it's
helps,
to
you know,
listen to the,
to suggest
Oh,
solutions and so on.
you know,
Didn't he have something like
the
twenty,
debates or something.
20,000 people?
oh, I see, but
Didn't he have something like 20,000?
But I mean, it's probably also a money
He-
raiser.
I didn't hear it, I mean, it was,
Oh,
I was asking,
I don't know anything about it.
Gustavo,
I haven't-
because,
I'm not on whatever list.
I wasn't privy to
I
the
think the
conversation.
media is so askew of what's going on.
Mhm.
You know, my
It's
friend,
very, very bizarre,
Very,
you know, that,
But he's not gonna be there.
son, Stephen,
no.
No,
I
he's gonna be a.
There was another thing I was invited to where he was going to be there, but you know, I had various,
and he had a.
Oh, well,
Oh, we could go
well,
Saturday.
Well, Tuesday, there's the big event, right?
What?
The debate.
Right, right, but that's on television.
Jessica,
Yeah.
I mean,
Columbia.
Oh.
You
I
know,
mean, it's not a
fans of
jail.
a candidate may
Yeah,
gather
his sister,
locally.
right,
Yeah,
and
there.
The
The
candidate
gold
has to
rush
be there.
in
Was it-
Columbia.
And they
Right,
will be
the gold rush.
on the
I thought it
screen,
was
and
the
opportunity.
change.
You can pay much more
Usual
attention
crowd,
to
I
just
mean.
watching it yourself
Yeah.
than with a crowd of people.
Oh, no, absolutely,
How
absolutely.
would you know?
I don't know what
Of
it is
course,
exactly.
When
but
was
it's
that?
like,
I
you
use,
know,
I
each
use
other.
an Asian,
Emerald rush.
spice in the cooking.
No.
There was
The
a-
first
One
part
of
of
the
the
governors.
No, I
first
remember
part
it.
of the morning.
Actually,
Didn't
But I
I
mean,
watch
I
some
don't
sort of
finish
debate?
it.
sound
You
of.
did.
Yeah, just to
But I
marry,
mean, that's great.
and then I finish it, you
Go
know,
with a crowd of people.
at the end.
Oh,
But the gold
But
rush.
You really wanna
at which
listen.
point
I totally
So
agree
that
with people
why-
think
what-
that
what
there's
is
too
the-
few.
And I suppose our
Democrats.
good added more of that
Well, yes, I think
Korean
Debbie wants to insult.
sauce I had.
Oh my God, she should be fired.
Yeah, but I mean, I thought, well, what the hell, I put in fresher.
How many fights could
Where
I?
is Columbia?
Yeah.
Oh,
But I enjoy
No, I
cooking
you know,
think.
I am
in the
so
morning,
disappointed.
separated out from the
whole
evening.
life
I can never
since
eat
I was a
anything
child
I just
and,
cooked.
All I
Really?
hear is about.
Well,
The one thing I do worry, one reservation about Sanders.
I never cook it at home, except for dumping.
Well,
The oatmeal.
He's unsophisticated about international.
We love it.
He is, and also he's a
Texas
little,
berries on top.
he's
well, I
a
know
little
that
cranky.
oatmeal was one of my
A,
gloires as a children child.
I never had it as a child.
I never had it, I was forced,
I mean, that's,
my
you
mother,
know, a month or two ago, he
she
said,
must have
well,
gotten
you know, why don't we sort of solicit our, you know, our allies, Saudi Arabia, and I said, oh my God.
what you're supposed to feed your
Right.
child.
Right, that's what I, well, they're so cold.
Yeah,
They're,
Milk was another.
they're the cause of
one.
ISIS, they're the supporters of ISIS.
I mean, the two things
I don't
I
know.
wrote.
Not the
Now,
cause,
David-
Bosch is Monaghan is more than anybody else.
But I-
And then secondly, then third, Bosch is
So I found this
A new
cereal
Right.
at Trader
But-
Joe's,
picture, which was,
which has hemp in it.
Oh,
the park, the.
I don't think
But
there's
I mean, it
anything.
has lots
My
of
own
good things for
nothing
you.
good about
That's a
those.
revolution.
Oh my God, there's nothing in those ideas, nothing.
One listing.
A year ago, before he died, Prince Faisal
And
came,
not only for oneself, but for one's cash.
Oh,
yeah.
It cost a fortune.
They had a series that was.
Violent television.
She's probably up on her bed, having a soup. She was down there a little bit ago, and I picked up a couple of pieces, but then I
Those in the mouth
somehow
and
forgot
hands
about
out.
her.
Yeah.
So the audience
And
is
so
not.
she departed.
No,
And I even, so
Right,
I ate the rest of it,
I don't
I took about this much
But
chicken.
somebody in the audience.
Because I'm really
Frankie
not
had
sure
to know
if
that
it's
wasn't-
Focus healthy.
vegetables.
There were obviously a lot of.
They were, yes, they were running
And someone
standard.
said,
So many vegetables.
you know,
because,
what's the story?
Look over,
You know, what's
you know,
going
when you're
on
traveling
with
with
work
Tokyo,
like
Tokyo,
that?
for instance. You
Yeah.
just rice snacks.
In your geological
I
study,
don't.
No.
I mean, you don't.
aware of
Oh my God, I've heard
And
someone
melon.
potential for.
hopefully like it, you know, and
Yeah.
nobody's gonna stand up in the back and say, no, of course you don't. You know, I mean, he wouldn't say anyway, but I just thought,
There was a
no.
looking forward.
Oh.
Occasionally,
So you really don't
for
do
that.
and
Really
again,
don't.
the rocks on the sea,
I didn't go,
And they live
the
around.
rock like gold, you know, but it was
Who
frozen.
was?
Yeah, the Japanese.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
They seaweed.
I used to,
Remember that?
I used to,
Well,
Oh,
I
Our
used to
friend-
actually-
Oh, I do
He
declare.
was
Our
that
Japanese
in
artist
my-
friend,
Next to my house in
But he's
Tennessee.
dead.
who was a terrible
Right.
drinker.
We cut food.
But his successor
I
was
love
really
that.
a dangerous man.
His mother
Oh,
turned
oh,
100,
really?
and she received a tea
Doing,
set
you know,
Oh.
green,
for her birthday.
studying,
And when he came to visit,
they bullied
you know,
You know,
the
I'm,
rest of the
I'm
military
the sixth
stuff.
generation of my
So
family.
now they're,
where he
In the
had
mining
I
this
don't
video.
know, I don't
He
know.
actually,
I think
They
he-
did
not
in
only
the
was it,
Islamic world, how they had this
actually
disaster.
not.
They had
She had
Land,
angels,
you get
and
mineral
then
rights.
Well,
You mean-
I
and then they had
That's
that
right,
fight.
our friend.
Petroleum.
Well,
I mean, that's
but-
really-
well, the thing that was horrible about his campaign was that
Celebrated
celebrated the
his
fact that
80th.
I remember,
they
I
tried
remember
to
him.
stop
Yeah.
Very
these large
impressive.
movements of
Yes.
people in order to get these
I did a
elites.
portrait
They're
of
now
him doing a
catering for these
portrait of
elites, so they
David.
don't.
Well, you met my
So
cousin.
the
Which
egalitarianism
I think is
of
impressive.
past
the
soldiers.
Yeah.
I
Or
brought it
He
over
was
to
run
think-
over on
yeah.
his way
And
to
it
Well, we have both of
a
them
Bible
next
study.
to each other.
Sense in a way.
Yeah,
In
but
Midland,
anyway, it was
Texas.
fun.
And
To
just like
sit
the
at the
book.
table.
Oh, but it definitely
Portrait.
Oh, yeah.
I think you just knew
We
too
spent the
much.
time, you know,
Buys
doing,
them the thing.
Yeah.
doing
How
art
well.
together, you know,
Yeah.
several of them together.
Somebody tipped off the.
Well,
It was
The
a wonderful
essence, the
guy.
essence of the
When
hobby.
he
were
came
crossing
to
the
visit
street.
us in our house in Normandy.
Because
Well, it
he
distorts it with his.
You know,
You know,
he
he
had
would always
cars
say,
with
I'm a
4
barrel
and a half
capper.
acres of park.
He knew how
Well, it's the whole business
reserves were in
of
the
destroying
ground.
all the traditional
Flower
housing
gardens
and modern
apartments.
support.
and
So
the
that the
islands
rich
and
people
the,
can
you
have their
know,
condos overlooking
Occidental
Cabo.
Petroleum.
Is this sick or what?
You
It-
know,
very-
always
Century,
finds a
century,
reason
century.
not to pay us.
Oh, yes, because
You
the
know, he
way
was
the
always
time
the
was,
most
everybody
It
wonderful
was the same.
because
right,
when
you wear the
he,
same clothes.
And the greatest
when he
imitation of that
grew,
ever was
Right.
in
you
the
know,
autobiography
like,
of
really,
Malcolm X.
We had a kind of person who knew
and there was no
And
corruption.
how many pounds per
I mean,
square
drinking
inch
her
in the
you know,
cavern,
after hours.
where there's, you know, they're doing water flooding.
I mean, he was
and
very
so on.
enthusiastic, you know, helped clear the table and stuff like that. He wasn't at
And of
all
course, inevitably.
a taker. He
No,
was
no,
loyal,
no.
loyal to David's
Ah,
for 1,000 euros, which I
He
was,
was
was the money we
You know, the
needed
really
to move
conscientious
from
ones.
move out of our apartments to Paris.
Well, I mean, for instance, he told me that,
But anyway,
I mean, something I never
I would
heard
think, well,
before.
I'm not gonna.
alas and
And
alack,
I might
he's drinking
try.
Where the Black Sea
Because
is,
they can't manage
you know,
to crash.
near
It's been
Istanbul.
going on for.
I think there is a lot of
Oh.
drinking.
uh,
see all the salary men.
2000 AD,
Yes.
there was a tectonic plate.
And then
Which
they
He
went
didn't do
to.
it as a
I
guest.
think they said no,
And
it's Pakistan.
The water
You
came
know,
from
he
the
didn't write his
Mediterranean
salary.
No.
and
Oh,
filled
no.
up the Black Sea.
Holy shit, that's a.
Sea level.
That's just,
Oh,
oh,
my goodness.
oh, couldn't have any change.
You ever hear
Oh,
that?
oh.
No, liquor well,
No, no, it was the management, so it was the Iranian.
Have you heard
I
that
mean, I like
California?
him better.
I mean, I don't have
So
any-
And over 130
Yeah.
Iranians.
So it's not wonderful for wine.
You know, leading to considerable economic hire over the whole thing.
He was very successful.
It's just a matter of time.
I mean, he
We
only
want this
sold
time
his work in Japan.
in
the moon
Geologic
is all
much.
catastrophes.
Rose that
Was,
people are
was there any bloom
You
there?
know,
Yes,
it's
on
in Paris after all.
A million years from now.
Tokyo.
You know, but
Yeah.
so
Well, I mean,
one,
so
one,
if you know your
just
market,
because
you
you're thinking
can
about
get
it,
it,
well,
you know,
it's another century, another
Incredibly
millennia.
What they need
So
to
much
do,
going on with
they
your
need
local
to
politics.
create get a slab
Oh,
to create like a tectonic plate.
totally.
I think
keep,
the,
you know,
neighborhood, King's Hill,
to
very
Research
lucky
is-
in downtown,
to
but
solidify
people,
the ground,
uh,
you know,
And-
under
Well,
the
see,
surface.
neighborhood association, I don't even know.
She private started, but remarkable
There
woman,
is
and
a
so we
list.
invited to her house twice, and then to all these
You know,
incredible restaurants.
Buy and
But I
They
thought,
need a
it's
block of
very
granite.
different if you know somebody like
You know,
that.
they need a block of
You're on the
granite
inside
about.
track.
Yes,
I think
that
that, I think
Because
once
they
they
don't
got
have
that
money
license,
side
it's an
track.
open thing, and then.
Right,
You
and they
know,
don't
it's
invite
just
you to
the
do
length
it,
of
so
the
that was those
$100.
that she did.
You have granite.
Because
block.
when or something, there was
Somebody-
You know, we had quite a bit to
Yeah.
do
Very
with
nice.
the Japanese.
Solidify
Has
all
all
the
the
ground around
She
where
screens
it's
all the posts.
and they're worried about,
Yeah.
they're about
Yeah.
One
$700.
person per day, you can't address another person,
From
you just
Japan,
want
you
to.
know.
Right.
And, you know, it's supposed to be neutral
Yeah,
and.
For
Well,
breakfast,
you know,
they
you're
like
not
Well,
really
one
leftovers from
person
dinner.
back
Well,
Yeah,
they're
exactly.
worried about
No,
flooding.
breakfast is not like
But
I
you
know,
have to-
I know.
The thing is,
Yeah, they have
you have to
usually-
worry about such
Who
things.
just
All
goes
that-
off the
the
rails.
other thing
Sushi,
that we
yeah.
can do is
And she's
practical
like,
They
stuff.
would arrive.
to make sure
You
that.
know,
on one
growing
topic,
up,
structures
I
of bills,
knew all
Hosts
Japanese,
it.
not Japanese Americans,
Bigger
because
have enough
living in Michigan,
flexibility
which
for
we're
Then
not
it turns
staff.
down because it was
a lot of
In
Japanese
Japan,
would
they have
visit, because
It was,
my family
it was
had
about
had it, yes.
I
six
know.
pounds old.
We could
They
do
would
some
arrive,
of
they
that
arrived
too.
at night, they
They
were,
were again.
Right,
want
yeah,
a lacquer bowl.
I mean, that's
full
fair
of
enough to point that
rice
But
and,
she just sort of,
and
she
Yeah,
played
they
with it,
come-
like, it was really kind of.
and that could be at any time.
unpleasant.
Yeah.
Wow.
So Betty said, you know,
I-
just
I'm glad we
write
didn't
this.
do it
Anyway,
before.
And then
I
Carol,
got off on,
this one,
Wow,
The
I-
submitter
I've always sort of
Yeah, she was
naturally
dessert. She's
sympathized with,
so.
Before my sister
in
died,
communication with, understood the
Raven,
ceremonial aspect
But, you know,
of
like,
relationships,
you know, a little
and so,
I had a big
so,
old-
you
so,
know,
you know, I mean,
at the
for
fog,
me it
you
was
know,
like,
in a
it was
little,
centered.
if somebody
Fascinating.
makes trouble,
Oh,
they
Northeast
make a
of
lot of
Los
trouble.
Angeles.
yeah, the ritualist,
It's not
Forget
oh,
the
and it's
town.
wonderful.
easy
I
to
mean,
stop us.
her,
Brendan Marie's
Because the
said
person who's making the
her-
trouble keeps
We're
making
talking
trouble.
about
all the,
And they call people up, and then they
considered
call
all
the
the
neighbors,
dishes
they
came
write
out,
emails to
all
the
the
people,
shelves,
you know,
This
it's
time.
all the drawers
finishing
open,
up
You know,
every, you know,
and
glass
it's
all
like,
over the
yeah,
floor.
well, that's what we
My
do.
poor
there was a
sister
little
who
girl
was dying,
who had a little
She said,
girl
"I
writing
can
a
get
little
bowls."
card.
you know,
From my
Very
students.
good.
She
Very
was
good.
very
I don't choose-
good.
I
actually-
don't even know
That
if she
The
had
design,
a
the design, which is always
Yeah,
what we
that's
do,
right.
we're
Yeah,
certain.
but just-
Well, I mean, there are
And
people.
then
and John
turn
No,
it
Maduro
around.
obviously,
came
it wouldn't,
So
I
that
wouldn't
it's
say
facing
never.
cleaned up
everybody else
all
on the table, so they can
Did it
describe
do
it,
it
but
right.
then.
wonderful.
So she's very beautiful. Right now, she's just
And
in
in
the
the
orange.
Right.
Yeah, she's
I think it was,
angry.
Because you want to get
But
the last
the person who manages
But
it.
it doesn't,
And the
doesn't
friend
control the
real,
size.
you lift up the bowl like this,
Well, I mean,
and you
she
see
died in
this where it was made,
1994.
which is
Oh,
what
my
everybody
God.
wants to do in
That's-
America.
Yes,
I know, that's
It's
very
very
ritual.
Yeah,
And
that's
that's the only reason for that
Something
noise.
was wrong.
Yes,
What happened
yeah,
was
but I mean,
She's really,
I,
really nice and
it's
sincere.
all,
the
you know,
pancreas,
she's quite
when it was
fascinating.
Then all
Yeah,
of
she
us
does
now
go
know.
on.
Fascinating.
Yeah, the personality.
You know, I enjoyed it.
the,
So that's.
No, I enjoyed it,
And
and,
it takes a
you
lot.
know,
No, it's like my wacky,
Sagawara Bunta and his
the,
wife and
gallbladder.
daughter, and they
It's
really quite
time-consuming
took
and
us
it's
so
out.
very
the
annoying.
gallbladder gets
So we,
infected.
you know, we wined and dined
my wacky
and there was still
gallbladder,
this great
Cuba as a second
Japanese restaurant in Boston at that time.
Who doesn't
where we
understand
had a
that my
great
life is
banquet
complicated.
experience.
I've got many
Pressed
Shabbat
on
Yeah.
by
and
the
the
Oh,
person
yeah,
called me
Japanese
five
banquet.
times a
Oh,
day, without trying to be completely.
That's the only way
Yeah. Do you have caller ID on your phone?
get the,
Ah,
I
unfortunately,
called,
my daughter was
Betty called
or
me
infection.
yesterday, and I didn't, it's the first time I just.
going
Yeah.
back to
Betty did
realize
it. I
something.
said, I thought to myself,
For
I
her
can't,
holiday. She
I
has
just
There's
can't
Raven
deal
and
with
Ron.
it. I can't spend another
And then
25
she'd have all these
minutes
young
Yeah.
boys.
talking to me about
going through, I mean, she
if I
had-
can't make it go away.
We have two
No.
things.
The children, they had two apartments, one for themselves,
That's right.
You know,
When
and
you were
then,
at Stanford.
but then, of course, they lose their apartment.
How old are the children when that happened?
Yeah.
I mean, the world's not gonna
And all that time,
rise or fall, or
there was
we're not gonna have
this
nuclear
single
over it.
earthquake. Then we
And
left.
so, what you had
But we
was
decided it was worthwhile, because that's
Well,
all
I'm on the, I'm on
community.
the, yeah, I mean, I'm a member of
There was a big
the neighborhood
earthquake
association, I mean, one of
in
the
area.
people on the executive
Buildings at Stanford, which are
committee,
used to
there's about
prison,
5
like
or
the
6 of us or
library
whatever it is.
and the main college.
So, you know, all of
Yeah.
them
So
acting out.
Seriously,
Yeah.
it took years to repair that. And
You
in
know.
San Francisco, bridges to,
Well,
from Oakland to
it
Berkeley.
wasn't,
Oh, well, listen,
that
I
terrible,
was-
but I mean,
I
she
took,
came home at
David
4 o'clock
to
in the
San
morning
Francisco.
on her bicycle
He'd never
from
seen
the
it.
South End.
Before he was,
That much I
got
got.
his offer to go to
We
postdoc.
really couldn't know what would be responsible. She also
And
speaks
last week we
fluently.
were in like.
The very night
we went to-
before
How was
we
it?
flew back to LA.
What is the
But
place
they
like?
come and visit,
Oh, it's a,
and
it's a
Earth-
they wanted me to take them out
You know,
to the
when on the
East
bridge,
London
bridges,
Palace.
you know,
in college.
And, you
going
know,
into
the
the,
head of the Sanwa Bank
and the bridge, you know,
would
down
down a
into the,
driver.
A house is
And he would carry all the boxes, you know,
Yeah.
because
we saw
You
the
know,
whole
it
thing.
hasn't
it was
been.
kind of the
I
healthy
don't
neighbor
understand
in
what it is.
Japan.
Oh,
It was very
oh,
But I
Yeah,
love that,
yes,
it's
I
like an
remember that.
old
I
time.
know, but
Give
it
us
was always
one
fall
movie.
and it
We
was
could have
cold,
buried
and,
like some
you
of
know, it
those,
just,
Well, Teddy flew downtown
I see, so
West
there's
End
no-
to the,
it's not much.
stores there.
And then that was that, and then next time,
Yeah.
by the time we come to
Of
actually,
course,
the holidays,
Yes.
and
I know.
I got a kimono,
they're,
silk kimono.
my friend,
I
Pablo,
was
brought up as a Jew.
Yeah,
Married
they
a-
don't,
a
and
Jew.
she's
Patty.
Well, not
and they're
anymore.
very beautiful.
Was she Jewish or not thought of as a Jew?
No,
I've been offered a couple
She's
of
a Wasp.
she was a Wasp.
who has
She
tried
was
to
doing
sort
her
of,
professional taxes and
she has
that.
too many.
Calvin, he's a very,
How-
he's a
how-
very
She's
nice
fine.
person.
Oh, good.
When I was a
Very
child in
smart person,
Santiago,
sociologist,
Yes.
demographers.
We learned on
7 years
third
old.
grade.
He is
but
Jewish?
you know,
Oh, he's Jewish.
And is
went
that
to
an
the
issue?
movies to see King
Well,
Kong.
it's an issue
There
in
was a
that,
big
the,
old-
you know, the holidays
and
have
then-
their,
And the screen,
one time
watch
they
it was
did,
going like this, you know?
which
And
is
you
the
know what part
post.
of the movie?
And then the
That's
other
already
side
part of
where
the
the-
movie.
That's right, it's
But
called,
I mean,
celebrate.
I don't remember
But
seeing King Kong.
the,
But then there is,
chemotherapy
kind of
treatment,
Secondary ones, yes.
secondary
the
ones, which,
radiation, all
you
these
know,
types of
97%
soft
of
tissue.
people
Open
know it.
space with a big
They
They
don't
hardly
know
know,
it.
they don't,
I
they
think that
don't
was
know
the
what
first
it
time
is.
I ever saw in my life, was King Kong.
But,
It's very,
you know, Calvin, and
distressing.
Calvin, he's
Uh,
very
Thank you.
nice, he's very
His
controlled.
neighbors were
I mean, in Santiago,
I think probably.
I don't know what.
How did that-
I
you go out of
don't
your
know.
house and you
I
look
don't know.
up,
I don't think
and
it's.
it's a
I
very
don't
level.
think
His parents were
very
At the top of those,
No, his parents are
these,
Mexican. I don't know where the
shades
Calvin.
there,
He looks
Oh,
so
out
Calvin.
the Andes.
He's not.
I mean, it's amazing,
Ah.
the wall
Oh,
of the
You
highest
know, you wanna
mountain.
make yourself some coffee, this, you know, I'll do it, you can't do it. No, Calvin, I can't,
Right.
same time,
They have
but I have a
this
great
Right, right,
grandfather.
Oh, I think I
No,
heard
he
that.
likes
Yeah.
to
The
control it,
family.
in a very nice way,
It's-
it's
it's
not
nice.
like, you can't
In
do
the
it.
nicest
have
possible
that
In
way.
the
very-
nicest possible.
Right.
She's done pretty well, hasn't
Alexandra.
Which gives
So,
Maybe, maybe no
the
longer.
four of them.
No, I actually
went
met
to-
her.
But I mean,
But he's
she's
really
pretty
good,
good.
and they're smart, and they're
Good
honest.
looking.
But, you know, it's not just like,
Thursday,
oh, so much,
Yes,
Not
there's
because
a,
You can't have
president.
a bone
So
marrow transplant.
everybody
If,
can-
US have a woman
you know,
president.
he hasn't, he isn't, you know,
Is it a time?
able to
Maybe,
have
maybe
a
Hillary.
transplant.
I ended up
Then
at,
there are
You know,
other
I think Bernie
there are
Sanders
any
is
of
gonna
them.
be your,
a few weeks ago.
Well, if Bernie Sanders.
And I,
was
you know, I went
James.
through the bone
Yeah,
marrow
she
transplant.
we went
really
on Fourth of
voted
July,
for-
yeah.
It was,
Oh,
it was,
yeah.
oh, that's right,
Hillary
because
Clinton do it.
when you came up for,
Yes.
you
And
came
then
up
you have a
for
little
that.
fellow
Yeah.
like Reggie John.
To
Yeah.
carry out
The, uh,
some of his
and
ideas.
I mean, they do it because they
So-
can get it
so
funded.
I was,
But, Hillary-
my conversation was.
You know, and I said,
She's a little bit of a
what are
hawk.
the alternatives?
Politician,
Alternatives.
Jane on the gas.
But
Oh,
I
it's great,
think
actually,
so.
but the funny thing is, you know, her
Actually,
is,
she's the one who,
who I know.
You know, it's funny, Chris
Who's
asked like
the
the.
start of the
Of course,
whole
that was-
process.
She's
And
one
now
of
she's
my
a-
back, so I've never seen her,
That's
to my
right.
knowledge.
That's,
I remember just
yeah,
hearing
you know, she's been a case of
Yeah.
her mother.
Yeah.
She's also, participates in the.
But, you know,
media.
some people
Yeah,
don't
People
think-
Project was how.
Right.
This
Yeah.
was, there'd be one thing, so who won?
The course they're on,
The,
and I hear
First
that
of all,
Henry is one of those.
the point is, when I got invited,
When
Long
Obama
time
was
later.
elected president, my first thought is.
there
will
were a
he say
total
why?
of, there was a
And then
couple
he's
from
treated
the West
with
Coast.
Somebody
Now,
wants to shoot him or something like
who
that.
I had, Chris Affleck's,
And,
Based on the case,
Not the best.
you know, like
Not the best.
3
Well,
years
that's
ago.
general.
Mass General.
Anyway, there were 6 of us.
writer for a newspaper man in
So I said, well, I hope-
Washington,
The
DC,
very first time I
hope
tried
you
to
have
sit down on the
You know,
veranda,
consult.
this mosquito
Yes,
makes me
And he did.
Oh, he did.
did
Oh,
endorse
yes.
that.
literally, it's like
But you know,
right
I
at
don't
me.
get too much because
And I
He's
sort
got
of
to
freaked out
believe
and
it.
asked for, you know, she
I
has.
heard
got to go
Yes,
along.
yes.
He needs to. Something
So
I mean,
so she did,
I
so I put all over me, so it didn't occur to me
Anyway.
that
But is he in
I
the
was going to need to
He's
do the movie
now
spread right underneath
and
the
he's
wall.
gotten
And we did just 4 mosquito bites.
therapy. He's
I
well,
had,
there's that whole,
Gets it from the-
in the course of that long weekend,
Church
it was
as
a long
well.
weekend,
Yes.
And that's
So
good.
there were
because
6
it helps
people
in
present, everybody else got 1 bite.
sustain, you know,
In total,
Something like
I
that.
had
the kind of
When was this? I don't remember.
situation he's in.
We were there in
Best
tick
you can
season.
buy.
A couple weeks previously, I did, 3 weeks
Yeah,
previously, I did in
And
very.
Like, they haven't seen very many
Thinking of
And
They don't see very
Yeah,
many
that's
people.
what I
I had
heard, I
been
kept hearing that, and
basically
also,
minding my
I
own
kept
business
hearing
on
it was very
the, on
bad.
my host's
Certain
computer
places we
in
thought
the
it-
evening.
It is very bad.
Yeah.
I got
And
like
pays?
3
Yeah.
bites
Well,
in
the two of them,
during
they
that
sit
one.
there, you
Oh,
know,
you must
because
have
they've
a
had enough
smell.
Oh,
support
but it's never been the
and
case
so
in the
forth.
past. All of a
Michelle
sudden,
Alexander,
I've
her
got
husband,
a magnet
up
for
to
the street.
the
I had 11 bites
Well,
on my
well,
left
that's
ankle.
right. Nicholas read
Oh my
something.
God, and they.
Nicholas
And
read
it's
something.
like
Nicholas
absolute
read
first
something.
serious.
round of chemotherapy, and then
Anyway,
first
so,
went back
so
to the
some years
Yeah,
later,
yeah.
I'm in another
Well,
mosquito
that's
magazine.
right
Once
there.
again, it's like,
He had
and
actually
I'm
worked for
completely, it's just crazy.
Yeah. I mean,
Oh,
In
God.
between those two events,
But they're all
I
very,
had what I deemed to be
Well,
two episodes about 5 days apart.
you know, I said,
Bites
God,
from
you're
probably
doing
one of those
so
little
well.
super spiders
Kids that
while
well.
sleeping
Yeah.
in my
That
own
doesn't
bed.
mean much, you know, and
You know,
so-
multiple bites.
Yeah.
Sales good
So
prognosis.
all of a sudden,
Oh,
all of a
yeah.
sudden,
Yeah, right.
biting insects.
They were walking down the
Really like
the hall of the upstairs
See,
quarters.
So that's one of the
Where the
really
fence
peculiar
along
features
the
of
traffic
my
comes out on the children.
Oh,
can't.
We were there during
Now
the
they
season.
Ah.
She was very, I mean,
Yeah.
Well, it's
no, it is, of course it's an issue.
How did
because
you
you
survive?
get
It was very strict.
Maybe
No,
we'll
no, you
hear
don't want to do that.
But
later,
certainly she had,
how many
you know,
attempts
she
there
gave
were
everybody
made.
instructions.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
it's-
Very hard.
I
And
mean,
there's nobody
Yeah,
there.
yeah,
They
yeah.
everyone knows
kids
well.
is surrounded, I
It
guess.
seems.
What?
No.
Because he's,
Because
They get well.
a few
No,
years
no,
ago, a friend of mine,
because he's
Oh,
surrounded,
wow.
he's
he
funny.
was
Yeah,
help from
yeah.
his married,
Compensation.
or even from her,
Yes,
her
yeah,
father was
yeah.
a Muslim.
Very
Not- So I got invited
That's
to
extraordinary.
to her grandfather's house.
Brandywine.
And, it was just the two of us, and she was out,
She has Alzheimer's.
been 20 odd people.
Yes, but I think
Anyway,
Alzheimer's
but
takes
it
so
was,
many
it was a
years
different
for
season,
It's
so,
just a big umbrella.
so it was like very much.
And he doesn't have
She
a
was
bus
always
driver.
subject to depression.
And
That's
one
all
of
I know.
them I did
Well, I
see,
think this is certainly not to give
Call
you
it
depression.
Jesus.
At least with
Weirdly
the
enough,
other
it
place,
wasn't
some
until I
was well
got
back, we
back
went to
to
visit her.
Cambridge.
She took
And had my first
Easy.
shower in Cambridge, so I
He's
discovered.
a wonderful, he's a wonderful aura.
But
This,
it's
I think
so
you get to
helpful.
only by
It's
car,
really-
because
it's
it's
very
been
quiet.
fun.
Dance. And they,
they,
neither of them
When
actually
you go to New
planned
York,
that,
you
so.
do everything by
So I
car.
managed to pull them out, they were completely individual.
We don't even take the car anymore.
Their problem was the gear test.
The deer test.
And one of the larger.
Because I know people in North Haven.
Yeah.
So sorry to hear.
And the television, the
Yeah,
education and everything.
But it's
so
her
it's
brother
so-
who's
Maine.
in charge
Yeah.
of her,
Yes.
things,
People
but,
get-
but still.
and he was
can't-
always
he
after
can't
dealing
do
with her
it.
money.
I mean, it's the real
Yeah,
thing,
yeah,
you know, I mean, I was
Yeah.
being.
Here, and Jane was right to make a big
And-
deal.
And I was being super
And
vigilant.
her best friend.
Yeah, these
I
things.
love it.
that-
Well, actually,
all my defenses.
there was a kind of
It went
conspiracy.
down
The-
an oil well.
But she said,
Yes.
and this was at the end of the tick season.
Some
She
other
had,
And so now I'm,
maybe,
I don't know
her-
how much money there is or anything.
her daughter, her elder daughter and
Sounds rather dire.
son-in-law
They all agreed that they were gonna block everything he tried.
out a couple weeks
But when we
before.
saw her,
when
she was
he
still-
was in height of the
Oh,
very much-
and her.
We have laws
son-in-law
against,
decided
we
to
have
take
laws
her.
against
Because we went
conspiracy.
to,
And
But I mean,
to New York.
I
So there were
think
like
more
seven
than
justice,
justice.
Oh, yeah.
you know,
And,
Yeah, it takes
she
a
was-
while apparently for the tick to actually.
yeah,
She showed us
mercifully,
her
you
All
know,
the
if you're even
police,
remotely,
Uh,
you know,
militarization
too-
of
She said,
et
you can
cetera.
trip to
forestall.
Japan,
I mean,
and
from my memory of
Uh,
the ticks,
so,
that was my
More
first really
black
tick
men-
event
but that
since
kind
I
of
was
thing, you know,
incarcerated.
still,
Then,
I
and
have
having
that
then they were
jacket.
slaves
taken off my
at
ass
still,
the end
at
of
4
I
years.
just don't know who you are.
By, back in the old days, they applied
But-
So in
a,
other words.
If
the
she's
a
still
idea
light
miserable,
of
then why is she
legislation
stuck in it?
of
I don't
being
know.
to
Well,
the,
that's what
to
you have to
get it
a
to.
Yes.
disproportion of this population.
Having
which
control
really-
over
Yeah.
any
So what Jane told us that her
And
mother
Caroline Ross
But does she have any money?
got Lyme disease and had
Wow,
a tick.
because
If she does, if she does, it's
Ignore.
not because he hasn't
Yeah.
been,
population.
I
you
didn't
know,
realize
buying
that,
and
yeah.
selling and getting the fees
The
off.
majority.
No, it can be very bad. I have a friend whose
And
father
also the
basically his whole life was devastating.
In a period
This
of
is
time.
Secretary of
Right.
Education, Arnie Duncan, who just
No, but-
resigned.
Yeah.
We
He
stayed
has
with,
this
we
plan
can get, she said, don't go and
to
Well,
stop
Anita, David's
the
first wife.
pipeline.
Yeah, I guess it was just
She
in
was
the
a
program.
great case of
From high
against
school
the
to prison.
We went for a walk.
Putting black
All
youth in
the way
prison.
down to the
You know,
lighthouse.
before they're even.
Oh, you went down that
Yeah,
long
yeah,
stick,
whatever.
long break
My
line.
daughter-in-law.
Yeah, I did that
From high
too.
school to prison.
I didn't go all the way to the
She's about
end.
44.
Because I was on my own,
And
and
she
it
had
was not so
tumor
fun when you're
on
on
the side
the
of
end.
the
But I did go way down there,
They
just,
didn't know what was
just
inside
for the extra.
Mhm.
Guy. His
Uh,
mother
they
was
didn't take the time
a
to do
teacher
the
who
kind
did,
of workup
And we went as far
tutorials
as
in
we could go.
Chicago.
and endoscopies, whatever.
My first.
So they just felt they had to get it out. So
That's from that's from some.
That's what, you know, she's really.
130 million.
It's
What's
really a
it?
pretty, you know, it's a pretty.
130 million.
Especially at that age.
That's not what it was.
Yeah, well, Jessica got her homework out
A lot about
Years.
it.
in her thirties,
In
which
the
was even
Vietnam
worse.
War, you lost 55,000
Right.
in 10 years.
That's
And
right.
here we're losing to firearms.
It'll come to me in the middle of the night.
Oh, yeah.
Just lyrics from old musicals.
Sounds wonderful.
She, Colleen said something that
Of course, somebody said, well,
evoked
half of those are suicides, which is true.
Did you see that
Oh,
the
I know.
Huntington is going to do all of
Well, I
Sondheim?
mean,
Suicide.
No.
All these.
No, but isn't the Huntington is going to have to find a new
Something like
headquarters?
Well,
Yeah.
the three horrible things that happened in theater this last week. And
Yes.
one is the Huntington.
Right.
And they're, in fact, I mean, they've been in negotiations with BU for 2 years, and they can't come, they didn't.
They haven't come, they didn't come to an
They
understanding.
came to an understanding that the Huntington just simply couldn't afford.
Oh, the BU wasn't going to accommodate their desire to
To
remain.
buy the,
Right.
3 buildings.
Right.
There's the major theater, and then
Yeah.
there's the two, you know,
Second.
buildings for, when they did my
I mean, our
other
country
theater, they had
in which
still
the
one of those
population
large warehouse
holds,
spaces, it's just full of bookcases
uh,
that they had designed for it, you know,
enough,
I mean,
yeah.
just huge, it's just,
enough
it was like an
weapons to
acre of bookcases.
cause a revolution.
Wow.
And they have that kind of thing for every play that they put on.
Supposing they
Um,
decided.
And there are 2 buildings
Close
like
and
that,
turn it
and they
to
taught these students how to do
Well, I mean,
set
you
design.
had
Adopt the
And
Fed.
We had this,
this
this
theater
General
administration,
Wesley,
and
did you
that
hear
was
of
like,
General-
Huntington's
General
absolutely
Wesley
no
Clark?
more.
So what is
It was the
the
general,
that they-
in the bombing of
I
Serbia.
mean, of course, going corporate is
Saying
like
that
the
they should have
nature
internment
of the
camps
beast with
for
higher
anybody
education
who
these days.
is
This
not
seems to be
patriotic.
really sad.
What?
General Wesley Clark.
2 years ago, one of the best regional theater in the country,
Yeah.
you know,
No,
they had the town.
Let's try to do
Right.
it without having.
Now they have
to-
the building taken out.
I'm not gonna do that. I don't have enough.
It's horrible.
It's horrible.
Now, are they trying
I
to
used to do that.
find some
They're trying to.
benefactor who will
I
actually
used to
buy
twist out
up?
my
the-
Yes,
And
well,
say,
you
"Mama,
know,
this is what bad
or
boys
they could go in, a partnership.
Right. Do you think there's any
Wonderful.
likelihood that that will happen?
It'd be
It's
wasted.
possible, I just don't know what kind of, how much a wheeler dealer Peter Dubois is. It seems to me that Peter Dubois
I
and
hope so.
Diane Paulus are both.
Oh, together?
I
Are
have to-
both, no, they came at the
You
same
know,
time
I-
from New York, and
yeah,
they both
this
seem to be
operation
focused entirely on New York, it seems to me.
Ah,
You know, they both love to put on
2004.
productions.
oh, that will go to New York,
Yes.
even if
Yes.
they, yes.
Yes,
I had an
That doesn't
antenna
help
sign.
and that
in
doesn't,
in
in
yeah,
establishing.
not really,
And
no,
my
not-
right.
although they're both excellent,
No, no.
but it's like Harvard
So I had to
drawing
be
support for the
extremely
arts,
careful not to.
so
use-
Yeah.
outrageous.
You know,
And then the other thing is Citibank withdrew its support from the
Little bit.
Wang
Right,
Center.
little bit.
why did they do that?
I know, but they're no more patronizing of the
Oh.
city,
Signal
bank, what is it, performing arts, Wang Center.
Right, so in other words,
And
the
my
Wang Center
record.
has to come up with
Another,
another sugar daddy.
yes, absolutely, and then
So-
Lyric Stage pulled out of the Wang Center.
I mean,
At
I
the
still
same time.
have a.
Right afterwards.
Sector
They
muscle.
just
Yeah.
did
In my
yesterday, I
anus,
think.
I guess.
And then,
But,
and then the Colonial, which
I
is
mean,
such a
they
beautiful
really just-
building, which had all the
I mean,
most wonderful shows.
the only way to
before
have
they went
avoided
Broadway.
it is to have a
They're
colostomy.
thinking of
Pat would have. put
sort
up-
of gutting it in a way, I mean, they're thinking of.
Is that the one that's gone to Emerson or something?
Yes, and Emerson.
I mean, I'm paying close attention to this
And what is
Oh my God,
Emerson?
I have a,
Oh.
Emerson is going to cut the main
Emerson, well,
space.
I don't know if they're gonna gut it or not, their plan was to take the theater space and turn it into a cafeteria.
Oh my
Your
God!
parents'
Isn't that hideous?
Oh,
The stage they
okay,
would
but-
still use as a.
Oh, that is beyond revolting.
Yeah, I have it
And
upstairs.
so
on
there were
the
lots of
wall in my
letters, and
bedroom.
a lot of people,
Also,
they didn't tell the faculty, the performing arts
If
faculty.
you can
So the performing
get to
arts
the second
faculty
floor,
Right.
wrote lots
in
of
the hall,
letters about
on
this
the-
Everything's
outrageous.
been so
is a picture of
corporatized,
Bergen.
in the universities, you know, now, I'm just kind of saying.
What?
from a
No, no, no.
general
Oh, I know, you're absolutely right. It's right. That's why I brought up the term.
Yeah.
Because it bespeaks this kind of mentality pervading everything, including Emerson.
Yes, Emerson is
Just
a
at the
performing
top
arts
of the
school.
stairs.
And the
Yes.
Columbo is the most beautiful, it's the gem, you know, the jewel of their crown.
It's like, you know, it's
No,
unspeakably
the
vile.
bean counter someplace, you know, have a huge pile of beans, they wanna put 17 more beans in their pile, so they're not
Where's
gonna
the stair?
Yeah.
waste a bean.
But what it begs for is really enlightened, informed, and well-heeled benefactors
Well, of course.
to
Where are they?
to
Where
step
are
into
they?
the breach, to
Yeah,
step into the
yeah,
breach,
yeah.
as they did in the old days.
Yeah, well, now.
No, I don't know, that's the degeneration of our current.
I mean, isn't that true?
corporate-
Isn't that
It's
true?
just a bunch of
Because,
shit.
I mean, because
Yeah,
it's,
they wanna
it's,
spend money on themselves.
They do, yes.
They wanna
exactly.
spend money on themselves and they don't care about anything.
No,
There aren't benefactors. They
No.
aren't saying, I'm so rich, I could actually do
Yeah, I don't
something
need-
good in some domain.
you know,
No, they don't.
I can forego my jet.
I can forego the 14th yacht and
In
spend it, yeah, you know,
It is so bad.
it's very bad.
It's so
well, about
bad.
10 years ago, all of a sudden, there are all these little theaters being constructed.
Yeah.
You know, there are more than, I think there are more than 100 little theaters in the Boston area.
Is that
Yeah.
right?
Mhm, but
They
they're,
have little theater, but little theater groups.
well, I should say little theater groups,
Groups,
and,
yes,
and many of them are, what, Catholic or whatever.
Yeah,
the
yeah,
word is,
yeah.
yes. They don't have
Have they
homes.
ever had street theater?
They have the street theater, yes.
But you can't do
I
that
love
around
that.
here.
Yeah.
I've had a lot of ideas.
I've got to go find out whether there's any tea in the.
It's
Is there anybody here who would like
Mainly
tea?
about politics.
Yeah,
Yes. Well,
You- you
they're
like
not
some tea?
some of them.
Yeah, I'd have some
Really?
tea.
Yeah, the public,
Tea?
they're,
Oh,
they're
yeah.
all very.
Well, that-
I'd have tea, caffeinated tea,
Tea,
for
okay.
Oh, yeah. It's just hard
What
to
do you
get
think
hold-
about this right named Carson?
He's an idiot.
Yes.
He's an idiot. He's just an idiot. He doesn't know anything about politics. Just go back and do brain surgery.
Yes, exactly.
I don't know. If he's at Johns Hopkins, he must be.
Oh, he must be good.
Yeah, right. So what you doing in politics? You didn't know that. I paid very little, I mean, I haven't paid attention to any details of anything he said. I had,
In Saturday Night Live, they had a black comedian who said, "Take it from me, don't vote for Ben Carson."
Oh, my God. Oh, Lord.
oh, no.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, the Republicans. Oh,
That's all.
They're just, there's nobody
No.
you could
And
imagine.
the
being
thousands wanting the job. Terrible.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But
Oh, who knows what's
so
gonna happen?
many Republicans running for president, it just makes,
Oh, God.
it's
Oh, they're-
ridiculous.
Very
all-
spooky.
Ridiculous.
Oh, they're all ridiculous.
Yes, all.
They are, here, I'll text this.
Bill Maher had this thing today where he said,
Thank you, Pat.
these little hunches, you know, it's not a fact, but it could be true.
In what?
These little hunches he gets about things, and it was, Ted Cruz is underneath that suit is wearing women's panties and a bra.
How do you know? Oh, come on.
Ted Cruz is an ugly human being.
Yes,
He is just a
Well, they're
nasty
all
piece of shit, and I don't
dreadful.
think Republicans even like him.
Would they want him to be the speaker?
No,
No,
Cruz,
no.
no.
Paul Ryan.
Paul Ryan, sorry.
Paul.
Paul Ryan.
Paul.
Paul, but Paul Ryan's not nearly as bad a human being, I don't think.
Mhm.
I don't care.
I mean,
We don't have any ice cream, do we?
We do not.
What do you have there?
Just, I gave you cake, it's right in front of you.
Just
I'm
have
afraid.
straight
You know,
up,
straight up.
straight up cake.
It's delicious.
Oh, boy. Oh, our politics is,
Fully.
I have a proposal.
but the Republicans won't win. I don't think they can win.
Fine.
You have to have a
I saw a whole lot
candidate.
of other stuff, but I didn't see that.
Not in the hall,
I mean, a lot of the Trump camps.
maybe there's a
None
light.
of them can win.
But I have some friends who came from
There's a
California, and they
light
said,
switch
they
on at
they
the
were
top
saying
of the
exactly the same sort of thing about
I was on the
Schwarzenegger.
second floor.
They're saying,
I
of
saw
course
a lot
he
of
can't
interesting
win.
things.
It's just laughable, it's ridiculous, and then he won.
Yeah, but that's just a state.
Yeah, that's different.
That's different. It's the whole country.
Yeah.
I think it's different. I
But
think
it's a whole country that believes in guns and this and that, I mean, in general.
No, I don't think.
I have a secret fear that Trump will be selected as the candidate for president, and he will choose Sarah Palin as his best president.
Oh, no, what a nightmare.
And that the two of them, I mean, that Trump will like her, you know, because he's feeling about her, and the two of them will accept and run and win. And the High House will be occupied by Trump and Sarah Palin. This is just
I'm leaving.
a nightmare.
I moved to Iceland. I don't care.
Meant to be taken.
France is better.
Meant to be.
I don't know, I'm just adding.
I'm just being humorous.
Yeah.
But I mean, can you imagine that? Well, it could happen.
Yeah, of course it
It could
could.
happen, and it could be elected, because the country is so crazy.
Well, tomorrow night,
Do you hear that?
I
there's
think you
the
could, I
Democratic
think you
debate.
could,
Trump is
Tuesday
Sarah
night.
Palin as vice presidential candidate,
Tuesday night is
Tuesday
the
night.
right.
and Sarah Palin as the
Today's-
vice president.
Fun.
And they will be elected, and all of a sudden they'll be in the White House.
Let's
The
go
country is
tomorrow
crazy
night.
enough to do that. I mean, wouldn't that be?
No, what about
Astonishing.
the woman running for?
It's my
On the Republican
it's my
side.
fantasy.
Carlos Arena?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sarah
She's
Palin and
appalling.
Trump.
That's what Pablo
I mean,
said, that
can-
she
I mean,
spoke
I-
to
Come on.
his,
It's not
his
that.
company,
That's not
BDO,
You know,
that she was
this is
very
just-
frightened.
this is
Very
just-
what? Frightened.
This is just
Terrifying.
total
Not very
preliminaries. Nobody knows anything. Most people really aren't paying attention.
I love
I
that.
don't know.
I love my family.
Mm.
I love the situation. The
What
White
was
House.
that?
Trump and Sarah Palin in the White House. Oh, no.
No, Sarah Palin, no.
She's over and done with.
She's done.
Well, but you know, she has
It's
to wait.
Trump,
Not
Trump,
really.
Trump.
She's so stupid.
No.
Yes, I mean,
No.
she tells it like,
Can
you
you
know.
come back?
Oh,
Oh,
no.
no, I don't think so.
No.
I don't, whatever.
Which is very little, there's nothing much going on,
No.
except ambition.
You know, but somewhere along the line, some people in the Republican Party are gonna realize that the world is aflame and that you have to have a somewhat semi-serious candidate. And the thing I think about Trump,
Your tea isn't where it used to be.
It's on the right side of the stove, in the upper cabinet there.
Oh, upper cabinet, okay.
What was I?
Trump.
Trump.
Yeah,
Oh,
theory
Trump.
about it.
My theory about Trump is he would hate being president. He would loathe it because he thinks he can.
He
You know,
resigned after he said, "All right,
No,
I've had
really,
enough."
he
You're
goes,
Sarah
I
Palin.
think what happens to presidents, I think it's happened to Obama, you go to the White House and you say, oh, I'm gonna do this and that, and the national security state, the CIA, whoever those guys are behind the scenes, they take you by the balls and they say, fuck you, we actually run this. You are not gonna do this and you're not gonna do that.
Yeah.
I think probably that's so.
You know, I mean,
Yeah.
Obama was gonna
That's
close
what happened.
Gitmo, I take him seriously, but he still wants to close Gitmo. They said, no fucking way. That's my assumption. And Obama, Obama wanted to be president. You know, I think Trump would say, oh, the hell with this, and he'd walk out. I mean, he can't put up with that.
We're all losers.
He would
The whole
hate
country,
it.
We're all losers,
Yeah.
the hell with it all.
Yes, exactly, right.
And then you walk off.
He would hate it.
He would
Hate it. You actually have to do a job. You actually have to run things. He doesn't run anything. He just runs himself. Runs off at the mouth.
Yes,
He's
indeed.
made money. His father bailed him out of Atlantic City. I mean, come on. You know, he's not really, I mean, he's a serious, and he can run his little pop empire. He would hate being president. president, that's my,
Yeah, oh,
I feel that, you know, I hope we don't find out.
what does he know about anything?
He does
Beyond,
nothing.
beyond
He
the
knows
real
nothing.
estate empire, yeah.
He doesn't know anything.
And
People like to talk, I understand that. Oh, yeah, yeah, we like him, he's telling the truth, but he doesn't really know anything.
he's totally, it will be the most.
Let it be, a real
Did you find
estate,
it?
I did.
a real
Just waited for
estate
the water to go.
guy and make more money, that's okay.
And married a few times more, younger women every time.
The same person.
No, I agree completely, but, I mean.
He
but
doesn't
to
wanna
think-
be right,
but
he
to
really.
To think that the country, and now I'm speaking seriously, that this country's electorate is so dumb that they might elect somebody like Trump
Yeah.
to the White House. I mean, I just don't put it beyond the electorate in this country.
I'm afraid you're right.
I mean, when they put Bush once and then Bush twice into the White House,
Bush, oh, yeah.
At least Bush 3 is not a very likely prospect.
He's not a likely prospect. I knew he was dead as soon as they sort of asked him about Iraq and so on, and he didn't have a prepared answer.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, how had he not been practicing this
Yeah,
for
what
2 years beforehand?
what a
You know,
flat.
this is what I'm gonna say,
What
this
a-
is how I'm gonna say, you know, lie, whatever, but,
Well,
you know,
I
so
mean,
it's
I mean,
like,
that he didn't
oh,
have.
duh, I don't know.
Well, prepared or not, he didn't have the wit to have an answer.
That's what I
I
mean.
mean, you know.
He's
How-
out to
how
lunch.
I mean, he's
I don't
a-
know what he's out to lunch on.
He's
but
elected.
definitely out to
He's a
lunch.
completely flat-footed
Incredible.
schmo, is what he is.
Exactly.
Tongue-tied.
Obvious
He's
question.
tongue-tied or something.
I don't know if he's tongue-tied. He's
No, I
just,
don't think that,
He's a
wouldn't
Jim
you
Ball,
have,
I think.
wouldn't
he's
you
very-
have
yeah,
practiced
very
that
good.
in front of the
As
mirror
Trump
for
would say.
years? I mean, it's like learning your lines. This is what you're gonna say, and this is what you're gonna say when they ask this, and, you know, it doesn't mean that he would be smart about it, but he wouldn't. It's like,
Who-
oh,
who are the
duh, I
Republicans
don't really
going
know.
I think it has to be Hillary.
It's just amazing.
But
We
there
have
are lots
to
of
go.
ads suddenly
What about-
coming out of this.
Well, he's got.
If Bernie Sanders
All of a
has got
sudden,
a
a
lot
lot
of
of
money,
money.
Lot of
Being
money,
spent on
crazy
that.
money.
On Bush,
On Bush, all of a
Yeah.
sudden.
Oh, that's got a
We're
lot
a
of
crazy Republican.
Because
We'll have
all of a
You know,
sudden.
it's
Roe v.
interesting,
Wade, we'll-
we
we'll
go
cut
to North
any
Haven
civil
Island
war,
in Maine.
Roe v.
The
Wade
youngest
return,
Bush,
and
the
Supreme
youngest
Court
Bush,
stuff.
George
That's what I
Bush's
think. I
brother,
got it.
George Bush Senior,
Well, I
youngest
mean, they
brother,
stole
Jonathan Bush,
the election from Al Gore.
Yeah.
goes
I heard him
to
on
Haven.
TV
I mean,
the other
nobody
day.
talks
Me too.
politics with him,
Damn
you know,
smart.
because
Yeah.
most people that we know, who know him, you know, they're all
He
kind
was
of like
trashed
that.
by the press.
But,
Because they
nobody,
kept repeating.
but he just sort of
an article by
stays
John
away
Wood,
from
They
his
just kept
family
repeating how
that
dull
way.
he was.
I'm sure he's a
As if that
Republican,
has
but
anything to
he's
do with
not.
price of
He's
beef.
not dull at all.
No.
He doesn't go,
I guess
he
it
doesn't
is
go to
stiff-
Kennebunk.
Stiff.
That
They
was
kept
the
repeating
big
that.
book
That
that
was the
came out,
mantra. That
that
was
everybody was
kind of
talking about.
obsessive.
The book by, who is it? It's Ted's
So you
son,
think
I
it's
think.
that
He wrote a book
Take
about
what?
the bushes,
That
that
did
showed
it.
the underbelly of the bushes. Everybody's talking about
But
it.
I
No,
mean,
it was
really,
the Supreme
oh,
Court.
good. I mean, it was.
There's a
So
lot
that's
of
good that
circles.
it came out
Pages
right now.
to
Yeah.
arrange that.
Oh, yeah.
My God.
Really?
Yeah,
I
I
think
thought
that
he was supposed to be a
people
good guy.
realize, you know, that the Iraq
he
war,
was a secretary of state.
oh, it's not in our face every day, how we destabilized
He was
everything,
serving the Bush.
contributed to the destabilization.
Yeah, and now we see these
He descended from the
unfortunate,
invasion of Iraq.
many of them
Shouldn't
giving
be
up
doing this.
lives that were substantial.
But
and
by that
having
time,
to
he was
risk
just
their lives to
dismissed.
start again.
It's an old funny guy.
Incredible.
Remember
Yeah,
that?
it's really incredible.
He said,
I
don't do
don't know,
this.
I mean, you know,
But
having
Baker
lived in,
said it.
lived in
I
Turkey.
think so.
Oh, it's not.
Well,
Oh,
that's
and
the
the
best thing I
thing
heard
is-
Oh,
about.
that.
I'll
that
tell you what I
massacre.
hear, well,
I
the
think
massacre,
so.
what I hear from
He's a
people,
Princeton
because there are
graduate.
a lot of people in the, who are in the
You know, it's
people
a
who
Texas
follow
kind
Jewish
of
politics
mafia.
pretty closely.
Texas mafia.
Some people were married to certain stuff.
Am I getting it
People
wrong?
are saying,
I thought
they,
there were a
they,
number
they
of
think
old
actually
Bush
Erdogan
one
did it,
people who
or Erdogan did
who
it.
don't do this, but they were dismissed.
I mean, I don't have an independent opinion, but people,
Yeah,
you know, the people, the Americans I know
They were
who know
dismissed
about
as
Turkey,
old fashioned and
that's
old
what they
funny.
say.
We're
But
starting a new
the former
world order.
ambassador, American
Are
ambassador,
you having?
yeah,
I always said.
I certainly do.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Of course, I
Oh,
always.
well, no, you always do,
the
but you
former
didn't say you
American
did,
ambassador
so,
to Turkey is speaking on Wednesday. And I'm sure he wasn't gonna talk about this, but, you know, he'll have to talk about it. You know, everybody will get it. Hey, I'm back. wants him a bad guy. And whether he actually put his goons out,
What was this explosion?
I don't have an independent opinion, but there
Did you hear
seems
anything?
to be some thought that
Who's
that's what happened.
responsible for that explosion?
People, I know, one person I know was married to a certain woman for a long time. and
Hello,
she-
sweetie. Hello, sweetie.
Her sources, her connections say it was Erdogan.
That's some people that blow themselves up, some suicide. What were they committing suicide for? I don't understand
They
suicide.
didn't,
Because their life was meaningless, or they wanted to
I-
promote the
I don't know.
Erdogan.
I'm just telling you what I've heard, I don't have an
They
independent.
end up in heaven, with all this.
The virgins?
all
With the
the-
What is
virgins,
this
yeah.
have to do with blowing up a peace rally?
Yeah, but, oh, God,
How
the
is blowing up a
Kurds,
peace
oh
rally,
dear,
killing people at a peace rally,
that's something I know.
is that
and
Oh,
not
asserting
about.
Islam,
There you go.
something or other, defending God?
Oh, you took mine.
I did.
You did. Well, this
Okay,
is,
thank you.
this is some, not quite so strong. This is,
So,
hey,
I don't know,
sweetheart.
Turkey, yeah, Turkey, oh,
By the way, Pat, that was a wonderful dinner.
Yes, it was.
It was
Absolutely.
delicious.
I tip my hat.
I would have liked to have made fish.
Oh, it was fine.
we'll
It
come
was-
tomorrow.
Another
What
day,
time tomorrow?
another day, another day.
Another day, another moment.
I still remember your fish dinner. I have the recipe. I haven't tried to repeat it. Do you remember what I'm talking about?
Yes, I do.
I was,
It's a great dinner.
did a fish sauce with red bell peppers and lime juice, using a blender.
Mm.
The fish sauce was lime juice and red bell peppers.
Yeah, but I mean, if it's pureed, it's a very good sauce. We have this wonderful tool in France. Not the blender, but it's just the blades. And you just go like this,
Into a soup.
and it,
Oh, yeah, those are,
I don't know if they have it here.
well, I've
You
seen
do it
things
like
like
this?
that. Yeah, you just put it in a.
Put it in a pot and it purees everything.
Purees.
And it's so much better than a blender because,
So you don't have to pour it into something.
Well,
Is it electric?
Yeah.
yes,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
electric. It's
No, we
terrific.
don't have those things, you just go.
I know what you're talking, you know, just put it right in.
Right. They have it here.
I'm sure they do, but I
I'm
haven't
sure they do,
actually.
I don't know.
It's a very useful tool.
I've never seen it.
Like an egg beater kind of thing?
Yeah, but
It's
it's
an
a
electric
blender. You just hold it like
Looks
this
a little bit like
and
it.
it purees everything that you want
Or
to have
cake
pureed.
mix or,
You know, to make, say, a red bell
Well, I
pepper
mean,
sauce. It's
different.
lime juice.
weed whacker?
Well, it's like,
We
you can see the little propeller that's inside a blender.
We bought.
Yeah, but
Well,
it's on
it's like it's on the end of the.
Of
a-
Latest.
or
I
like
guess
it-
it was
Blender, you know,
Yeah.
You just,
one of the latest.
the hand tool.
Yeah.
We
I
bought.
think my
We have the
father-in-law had
Oh,
it.
I
We
know.
took it out of the box,
I-
and then we put it back in the box, 2 years later, and it's in the basement.
I
Never used.
completely understand. I like things where the directions are simple, where
Yeah.
it's intuitively obvious what you
Right,
have to do.
exactly.
Where you don't have,
Directions.
And then you
know,
don't have to
the-
clean
you
out
know, the
5
Trials
different
of Christmas
pieces.
in Wales.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
all
Oh,
about,
I love that.
packing and such. Oh, yes, and directions, oh, easy for Leonardo.
I am trying to figure out how to, I mean, and this is a terrible admission, it makes me seem like an idiot, but I'm still trying to figure out how to make photographs with my mobile. And then once made them, where they are, and then how to
How to
transfer,
put them
how
on
to
the-
transfer them to my hard drive. I have no idea. I look
Well,
at,
You need a young
It would be
person.
I
very
look at the
useful.
direct
for you.
I can't figure it out.
My granddaughter will help.
it would be very
me.
useful for me, absolutely be
I
very
don't
useful.
think, I don't think
You
the
need one
time.
of those plugs, I forget what they're called.
No, I know I actually have
You
one of
have
the
all the
connections, I just don't know how.
You don't
I
know
look
how
at
to
the
do it.
directions and they seem opaque.
You need somebody that's, it's all
somebody
done by
young.
apprentice.
I regret
Right,
to
right,
say
everybody
sometimes,
has
you
to
know,
somebody
you
show
know,
them.
before
The
they
student
can-
buys them,
Yeah.
But I used to have access to, I used to have 4 or 5 students working for me at any given time. And I could, you know, and then I was fine. Now I'm
you're on your own.
I'm on my own, it's like,
Well, get yourself a
I
Harvard
can't do it
student.
either, but I, you know,
it's easier said than done when you aren't hiring them. you know.
Yeah, but I
Immersion
mean,
training.
Oh,
you don't have to hire them.
That's part of it, that's part of it.
Well, this
No, not that one, that was.
Oh,
You.
You don't have to hire them. You just get them to come and learn
That's
from you.
really a good cake.
Well,
yes, it was delicious.
Mm.
No, but I am amazed at what the
I should
children
get-
these days
I
know.
Oh.
It's almost instinctive.
no,
always
I
see
understand.
gadgets. Our
6-year-olds know what I am
Yes.
I am befuddled by.
No, our
And I say,
gra-
oh, son, you know what's the matter, you just do this.
yes,
And you think,
exactly.
You know,
wait a minute, wait, I'm smart.
Our granddaughter,
Right,
you know,
granddaughter.
our granddaughter was at the time she was about 10. We had a party at the house, one of those gatherings, Thanksgiving or something like that, and she was very quietly taking photos. You know, age 10, taking photos, and so on and so on and so on.
Not
And
just
the-
photos, video.
you know, or
Video,
just,
yeah.
Video.
just with
With buzz.
with a little handheld
Mm-hmm.
camera, you know,
Mhm.
little, with this, and then by the end of the dinner, she was circulating for our viewing a little production that she had, that it had a title, House of the Madhouse or something like that.
We all started.
By so and so and so and so, and then images and images and images of, you know, us doing all kinds of things around the house. As we prepared dinner, I was cutting something, and so on, so on, so.
She had a little movie already.
Yes.
And then the pictures of the house and this and that, and by the end of the 1 minute, you had seen all these crazy people, you know, preparing the dinner and sitting down and so on. And she had the titles and who directed this or all in 1 minute.
She may be a genius, you know.
I mean, I just
The kids can do this.
couldn't
these
believe
days,
it that
they
she,
can.
with credits, everything looked professional.
Yeah.
She did it in such a way. And she was not even, she's 12 now, 13.
She's 13.
But this was about 3 years ago. She must have
Just
been
10.
around the 10 or 11. And how did she, when did she go around to just
Is she doing any more projects of this sort?
What?
She's continuing to do projects.
has she
It's
done
not even
anything?
hard for her. Right,
No,
it's just not,
that's just something that she
Just
just
on the
did.
spur of the
I think she's
moment.
on to something else.
Yes, on something.
But if
totally
if Rosanna has a
I
problem
can
with
imagine, you know,
computers,
I can
how would
imagine
she
my
do it?
youngest granddaughter, because mine, doing something like that.
And our grandson who is 6, I mean, he's so addicted to all these gadgets. He has his own little, you know, handheld, this and that, and he's playing games all the time and doing things that I just don't even know, you know.
He's playing chess. Chess tournaments.
She's
They're all
playing
geniuses.
chess. And there was a couple of that she showed me in the New York Times, in a park in New York. This 6-year-old was playing chess with a grown-up, and with about 20 people looking on as he was playing chess with him. And in
This
school,
is your grandson or somebody else?
Our
and in school he
grandson.
won the prize with somebody else shared a prize for best chess player of the class or something. So I mean, it's just, but the guy is coming to.
No, but the thing that's very
Gadgets,
interesting is it's not just technical things, but it's with feelings and with beliefs, because he knows that we're atheists. So he came running up to us at 5 and he said, "I believe in God."
Really?
Yes.
And did he get this from his parents or somebody
I
else?
think
Probably his mother.
But maybe from his mother. Then in Japan, and before every shrine, he would take the water, you know. and
Oh,
splash it.
during your reunion?
Yes.
He would splash his face like, and he would light candles. and-
So no particular God, just God?
No, just God.
God.
Yes. and he would say to me, "No, don't put the water back in there. That's holy water. Once you
You can
wash
take
your
it
hands,
out.
take it
You
and
cannot put it
out."
back
Yes,
in.
yes. I mean, he was giving me directions on this, light it.
And he
make
was
the
5 or
wish.
6 at this point?
Yeah, he was 6, yes, yeah.
This summer, we went with the whole family to Japan. And,
Yeah, no,
and,
yeah.
and at one point, a scientist who belongs to a group that I belong to, an international group of scholars and so on, invited us to a place near Kyoto
I told him about that.
for lunch. Yeah. And our grandson, he wanted to demonstrate a gadget he had invented to capture solar heat or lunar heat or
The
whatever.
6-year-old?
No,
No, the
the
scientist
scientist.
had this enormous,
And he cooked,
device.
fried eggs and this
he
and
could
that.
fry eggs by the light of the moon.
And so he
The
was
light of the moon? No.
Yes, yes, yes.
demonstrating all of this for us, and our grandson, seeing this, he went up to him, was sitting, there was a good sized group watching this whole thing, and he came over and he began asking questions, and really pertinent, intelligent questions apparently, and so this man said, "You are going to be a great scientist."
A scientist believer.
Well, the scientist is quite mad himself.
That is delightful.
Where did I see?
But I keep thinking he's going to be a scientist, because she will do anything else, but he will do something remarkable. But I just can't keep
You
up
can't
with him,
keep up.
with him, or with our 12-year-old granddaughter. Oh, she looks at whatever I'm doing, and she's
James,
looks
you got
impatient.
all
and
minutes.
so it's the whole man to push that button.
I'm gonna say goodnight.
Okay.
Yes.
David.
Okay, well,
Great to see
Jody,
you all.
Jody, honey,
Great to see you
you're
all.
not
and thanks
supposed
for
to be
coming.
on the table.
Great to see
Darling.
you.
There's nothing here for you,
So nice to,
I assure you.
so nice to see you.
Wonderful to see you.
no, you do not want
Thank you.
tea.
Yeah.
I'm sure
She
you
likes
do.
you, actually. She's drinking my
Looking
teacup
and
today.
sounding.
She get wired?
And yesterday. Well, I don't know. I didn't-
Pretty happy yesterday, but
Ass on my plate, no thank you.
happy today.
Oh dear.
Oh.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
take that to sop up.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway,
Two
great to
minutes.
see you.
Take care.
Thanks. Yeah, see you soon.
Take care.
David, you want me to follow you, is that
Yeah.
correct? Okay.
Let's
see.
This is already soft. We will.
Oh, good night, David.
No, little paw got caught in there. Oh, you gotta watch those cats.
Sorry about that,
It's not your fault,
I just
no.
was a little
No.
freaked out by.
Jody, she's a table cat. She loves tables.
Oh my God, what was that?
But now let's get some more.
Nothing like a delightful evening of alcoholic consumption.
It's very spiritual chair.
Well, I don't know how sturdy. They were my mother's, after all. They're old.
Well, our new cat Brian.
Well, you have this
No,
delightful
he's
love
about,
seat.
he weighs about 16 pounds. He's about 50% larger than our other cat.
Well,
But
Jody
it looks the same
Jody
color.
weighs 6 pounds.
Yeah, no, she's
Very
quite a small
petite.
cat.
Lorenzo at his peak weighed 15 pounds.
Oh,
Yeah.
Lorenzo. Quite a magnificent creature.
Well, when we get Fausto all settled in, and
Fausto.
that's the name he
Fausto.
came with.
Uh-huh.
James was looking for a different name, but I think he says, Fausto's a good name.
That's
I
a good
think
name.
so.
I know
Why,
what
keep
it's
it, keep it.
Yes, exactly, that's what I think, it's, it's not.
I mean, if he answers to it, more or less.
Cats, they answer to your voice, I don't think they know the names, but
Well,
Well, it's a sound.
it's the
it's
same.
a sound. I mean, I chose, Jody had a most awful name before she came to us, but it had D's in it.
What was her name before she came?
Judy.
Judy.
Oh, that's pretty terrible.
Doty's much better.
Jody.
That's like
Jody's
Judy
better than
Kravitz.
Or do your best.
Jody Kravitz.
Dudley Kravitz? Okay, whatever.
No, well, we will get,
I
no,
didn't
he's
even
been
see
very
the-
well behaved, but he's starting to go outside, that you can tell. He looks out the window and, hears the birds, and sees a squirrel, he's ready to go crashing through the glass just about. No, it's not that. He's not that violent. He makes his wishes clear.
So that David lasted a long time. Because I imagine he goes to bed early.
Yes, but
We all like
he
that.
enjoyed himself, so he,
Mm.
he stayed as long as he could.
Yeah, 7 to 10, 3 hours of interacting with.
Well, of course, he was up before we arrived. Because he was
So
up when
let's
I arrived.
put this away because it's wet.
Oh, that's right.
This wet, wet things on a wooden table.
My beautiful French.
Well, I apologize for.
No, no, you didn't, it's stuff happens.
I didn't know that the little claws were embedded.
No,
No, exactly.
how would you know?
See, I grew up in a household that had cats. In fact, always
They
had.
lived in the garage, I know.
They lived outdoors, not in the house. And if the weather was really bad, there was a little cat going into the garage.
Oh,
When Rosanna and I first met, we have an album, to document our beginnings. And so
Right.
it's a very handsome, big album of everything, photos of us before we got married, and it's all I meant, photos of Rosanna's family and my family and our first meeting and the whole thing. But the first photos on the first page is about 4 or 5 photos. We are in my apartment in Cambridge. I'm holding a cat that I had, and then the next photo Rosanna is holding the cat, and
it was
so
very beautiful cat.
and then in the same page, front page of the album, Rosanna is standing on top of the Folk Art Museum
Steps?
The balcony.
The balcony.
She's on the balcony,
I
and
don't know how I
I am down below talking to her. And
So first the place of honor is the cat, and then the place of honor is Rosanna.
Exactly.
and then in the next page,
Right.
those photos of Rosanna and I climbing trees. I mean, I was a geologist student at the time, and so we're right behind the museum, in the area where there's some trees, and I'm up on the tree, and Rosanna is climbing after me on the tree, and then vice versa, something like that. So those are the first couple of pages of the famous album, but it begins with a cat. Oh, dear.
Cat lovers do not keep their cats in the garage. I regret to inform you.
Oh, no.
So maybe the cat.
You aren't puncturing any illusions I have.
Oh,
Did he call?
David is calling.
Not puncturing any illusions I have. My father had a rather bloody-minded attitude towards pets,
David?
conveyed rather effectively to the rest of us.
And it wasn't that I was, looking to have a pet when I was in that apartment in Cambridge. I was up on the second floor of one of those old houses, and the cat kept sort of knocking on the window, and knocking on the window, and coming around, and so he managed to get in. And once he got in, I thought, what can I do? And little by little we bonded, But it wasn't that I wanted to have a cat. The cat wanted to have
The
me.
cat wanted to have you.
To have a home. And by the time Rosanna arrived on the scene, there was that cat there
Right.
already. And so look, and then we had cats in California, and our house in California with a cat. And then we moved to Canada, and we had a cat there.
What happened to the California cat?
The California cat, is that the one we took to Canada?
I think maybe.
Yeah. Could be that. We took it to Canada eventually. And then in Canada, we went away for summer. I was teaching at our house in Halifax. We went away for the summer, and we had a student of divinity, a woman who was highly recommended by a friend of ours, a professor of divinity, said, oh, she loves animals more than people, that kind of thing. And so, and when we came back, she had neglected the cat.
Really?
Oh,
So seriously, the house was infested, the cat had destroyed furniture.
That's horrible.
Oh, really?
It was horrible.
Mhm.
We had to throw away even curtains, furniture, and clean up the place of
Well,
fleas and
So why
stuff.
was she so radically misrepresented by this?
I don't know, well, I think what happened was that she got a better offer halfway through her stay with us. In other words, maybe a mansion. So she
Oh, and so
left,
she just left
she just
and
left
neglected the cat.
and put little cans of cat food
Oh, that's horrible.
in the kitchen and didn't let the cat out. So the cat did its thing on every
Oh my
cushion
God.
of all our furniture.
We had to
So we had to
throw,
get rid of everything.
Well, you know,
and the cat died. As soon
And
as
then he
we came back,
died.
about the second day,
Yeah.
well, he was obviously an extremist.
Yes.
Extremist. I had an analogous, not the same experience, but when my parents my father took a sabbatical to Germany in '60. My parents thought, well, the director of the nursery school that my parents had helped found, and that my littlest siblings were still going to when they departed, that she and her husband, who was a shrink at the Napa Institution for the Criminally Insane, that somehow that these were a very attractive, nice young couple, perfect people to rent our house, and what could go wrong? And so they gave them even a break on the rent, less than what we paid for crap, pardon my language, in Germany, which was really weird, because it was really weird. And anyway, we get back after 13 months away. They had watered the lawn. They had never watered my parents' beloved gardens. They had raised dogs.
Oh.
And the dogs had used the gardens as their shithouse. So the gardens were utterly devastated.
Oh, no.
They had never once in the whole year cleaned the lint out of the dryer.
Oh, which
It
could
was,
have burned down the
it could have burned down the house, but my father took literally all his strength to yank out the thing and get this impacted massive of lint out of there. They had never once, Davis unfortunately had very hard water, they'd never once cleaned any of the faucets, all the fixtures, which were now corroded with massive accretions of whatever, minerals. There wasn't a single piece of furniture in the living room that didn't have cigarette burns on it.
No.
It was like, there was the informal dining area off the kitchen had a patterned wallpaper. There was this great irregular splotch of brown splotch that covered most of it. Something had been thrown on it and not, cleaned up. It was like a complete horror show. So it was like devastation everywhere you turn. And I was only 13, but I kept, saying, well, what are you going to do about it? Well, my parents were way too peaceable people to try to do anything about it, so they did nothing about it. There was a sort of funny pendant to this story, because the furniture in the living room was so devastated, they had sent it off to Sacramento for reupholstery. And then the company in Sacramento was delivering it back to Davis in this truck. Somebody had failed to lock the doors to the truck, and all of the furniture had fallen out on Highway 80.
Oh.
And they discovered this belatedly and had to go back and turn around and go back, by which time somebody had managed to steal everything off the highway. So we've lost my parents had lost all of their living room furniture. And so the company
They paid for the repair.
Yeah, they were paid for the replacement, so we got brand new, but it was like, the whole thing was just outrageous.
oh my God.
I mean, arriving there, and then the workman getting around, it said, oh, there's nothing in there.
That's incredible, yeah, yeah. We never had a really bad experience like that, but one year, we did rent the only time that we rented our apartment, we were going to be in London for 12 months. And we rented it to an American diplomat and his wife. They had a child, maybe, or even two. But maybe a child that was still in baby carriage, that kind of thing. And they paid the rent, everything seemed fine. When we came back, it wasn't too bad, except that they must have had either a dog or the baby carriage.
Oh,
Like the fish to the mouth, damage.
oh, thank you, John, that's grand.
I had it, the fresh basil was hard to find at the market, I guess
enough
it's just about gone.
Do you ever make pesto?
And a couple of other minor
No, I
things, but it wasn't too bad.
No, I understand, I
Yeah.
heard you on.
The
No,
diplomat left
but
no
you know, but it's.
forwarding
Cut
address
up
or
what's
anything
cut up
like that,
on
right?
tomatoes.
As to saying, sorry about that, not sorry, sorry about that, but you can't trace us, So he was very diplomatic in that sense. But it wasn't a disaster, but.
No, but this, yeah,
Well,
no, my parents faced it.
I was a little disappointed that they had not quite lived up to what I expected. Well, once you have children, and if you have a dog,
You lose your sense of
yes.
decency and so on.
You-
I mean, what are people thinking? What, in yours was the disaster place.
My parents.
What were they thinking?
You
About
know,
what?
When you're in somebody's house,
it's hard to,
put out a cigarette butt on the-
it's hard to imagine how people
How
could
are
be
they brought
so,
up? How are they brought up?
so wantonly,
And
just
nice
wanton,
people, perhaps.
wantonly.
Anybody
You know, I mean, ironically, when they went on, the next time they went on sabbatical, they actually rented it to 5 U of C Davis undergraduates.
Oh my
And
God,
no,
that's
nothing,
insane.
no, but, and it was a far more grander home. Nothing happened. So
Well,
you
nothing
can,
ever happens here.
so you can't predict
You're lucky.
who is
Well,
going to be the,
I have pretty
you know,
high-end
the
clients.
depredator.
But
No, it's not
the most incredible case, because everybody here will know the individual involved. We have friends who own a house in Brookline, beautiful large house with a good piece of land, and they rented it way back in the heyday of the drug culture.
Yeah.
To the famous professor
Leary?
Leary.
Yeah.
Oh.
Timothy
My God, what
Leary,
bad luck.
who's already come up once in
Rented it to him
Yeah.
for a year or two, and when they came back, I mean, everything, I mean, the piano, burned,
Oh,
cigarettes,
God. Oh,
and,
Lord.
and everywhere, just because he would bring his students to have drugs there and to sleep there or whatever, they semi-destroyed the house.
Oh,
Yeah.
my.
And we went afterwards, after they had repaired and so on.
So you witnessed
No,
the
no,
catastrophe.
we didn't witness it because we met them a few years after all
I
that
see.
happened. But they could still point out to us.
Some of
later,
the
damage.
lingering,
Yeah.
lingering
Timothy
insults to
Leary,
It was a
the
beautiful house.
establishment.
Beautiful house. They still own it.
I don't know whatever got into them to rent it to Leary.
Well, other Davis
no
friends-
idea, who was, I guess. He's a professor at MIT, this man.
Well, other Davis friends rented their house to a visiting professor from Australia, who he and his sons were into go-karts, and they treated they pulled up the rug in the living room and used it for and they just literally destroyed the hardwood floor in the living room by doing their go-kart business in the middle of the house.
People rent our house out, James.
No.
No.
Be very careful, that's all. Don't put the cigarettes in the piano. What else?
My
do you do?
God.
Don't defecate in the.
Well, mercifully,
Don't
of course,
urinate.
so many fewer
Smell out a
people,
whole lot of things.
so many fewer people smoke than
Yeah.
back then.
And of course, all these people on drugs, what did they know about, but where they were, what they were doing. And so.
I quit in spring 1984, quit smoking, but I had, started going to Fog Wednesday coffees in the Naumburg room in the fog in '83, a year before, almost a year before. And I was struck by the fact that if my friend Masame Farhad, who was the curator of Islamic art at that point, or assistant curator, if she didn't show up, I would be the, well, first of all, that you could actually smoke in the fog in the coffees. That was remarkable. You know, that just showed that, you know, that is like another world.
Another world.
Another world altogether. But that if Masame didn't show up, I would be the only person smoking. And that was like, it really bore home to me the fact that, you know, you could imagine a time a decade earlier or 15 years earlier when almost everybody in the room would be smoking. You know, and so that things have really changed. And I was on the, you know, I was a laggard in that regard, and it was time to start thinking about it.
No, I'm very fortunate that I tell my daughter that I owe my life to her because I used to smoke a pipe. And I smoked a pipe maybe,
Oh, I remember that.
you know, for maybe from the 20s to mid-30s or something like that, for 15 years, let's say. And but if we went to Europe in the summer, I would leave the pipe, no problem. I wasn't addicted to that extent. So when our daughter was born, I was teaching at Stanford, and I said to Rosanna, I'm going to smoke only in the office, never at home, so that she does not. And so, but one night, she must have been 3 months old or something like that, and we were having dinner, and our daughter was in a basket right there, and all of a sudden, my pocket, I felt a pipe, and pipe tobacco over here, and I said, I'll just once, you know, and I lit up, and the room began to fill with smoke.
Oh, God.
And we were aware, and all of a sudden, our daughter began to get sick, began to throw up.
Oh my
Oh,
God.
my Lord.
And I said, oh my, I mean, this is bad
What
for
am I
children.
doing? I'm poisoning
This
my
is bad
daughter.
for our children, it's bad for grown-ups.
Yeah.
And I took the collection of pipes that I had.
Which are very nice.
I bought pipes from Holland and all that kind of thing. Maybe a dozen pipes at most. And I said, this is it. I threw them into the garbage can and never smoked
Yeah,
again.
there's no motivation like taking care of your children.
Yeah, I mean, so I said to her, thanks to you, you know, you saved my life, you know, I mean, and one decision like that was firm and finished.
Yeah.
Never again. So that's
Did you have any withdrawal from the?
no,
None.
somehow or other, because in the summertime when we go to Europe, we leave the pipe and smoke for.
No, I had 3 months when I quit. I had 3 months of very intense withdrawal, symptoms.
But
Every night when I would finally, when I was just falling asleep, I would have these incredible spaz attacks. Literally, my hands would clench, my legs would kick, my whole body was like, you know.
You were really into it.
Yeah, well, I smoked a pack a day for 19
Oh, really?
years.
no, thank goodness I didn't smoke that seriously. But
Just a pack a day?
Just a pack. No, I never went over a pack a day.
3
Never.
packs, seriously.
No.
Oh.
Oh no,
Oh,
but
God.
I
That's.
People do that.
I smoked Camel Straights, with the exception that I also liked Sherman's Cigaratellos and Turkish Specials, all non-filter. They were all wonderful. I mean, I did quit because I didn't like smoking. When I was smoking the right cigarettes, I loved it. You know, there's just no two ways about it. I actually loved the experience.
well, the only kind of cigarette that I smoked once, Blue Moon cigarette was available or something like that. I did smoke a cigarette, and the only ones that I really liked were the Turkish cigarettes.
Yeah.
Because they're no filter.
Yeah.
They really feel
Yeah.
like
No,
tobacco.
I hated filters.
Yeah.
They were really
No.
just spoiled experience.
But I never got addicted to
Yeah.
cigarette smoking, thank goodness. So, the
Are you
children
gonna
do,
jump up here?
children do things for you, you know, that you're
Hi.
surprised.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm gonna take
You
this
had
out of here.
a,
Let Jody jump up on the table.
you had a rewarding excursion?
Yeah.
Or same thing, yeah.
We had some,
We should.
some mahi and some tacos.
Oh, yeah?
Mahi mahi.
But we should be going.
Yeah.
Could I catch a ride?
Of course.
The car is right in front, waiting for you.
Thank
I almost gave you a call to bring you here, but then
Yes.
I thought that you like to walk enough.
I do. It's exactly
was
right.
lovely.
And I checked the weather, it was really nice, so I, if it had
Yeah,
been bad, I
it
would
was
have
a
called.
very nice evening,
But I'm,
late afternoon,
Yes, oh no, it's
Beautiful.
perfect. And were you aware of the festivities in
and
Harvard
don't
Square?
forget your
No.
magnificent rice bar.
Oktoberfest.
oh,
good.
oh, yeah. I don't think I've been to
Very
Oktoberfest for 20 years.
It was packed with
And we
humanity.
have
It's
great
like,
college.
even more.
Well, I
We
don't
live
think
right
it's
there.
all,
You
but
know, when
Yeah.
we came out
very
of
nice college.
Oktoberfest.
Right, but you're a little bit beyond the, you're at the end.
Oh, by the way, that's
I
my,
went to
that's my
farmer's
forget.
market, and then there was a big parade, I had to go
Small town.
down in the subway,
Really?
and
Oh,
go
my
under
goodness.
Mass Ave.
Guess who I saw
Very
last
lovely.
night?
Somebody has good taste in the
Patty
countryside.
She does.
Yeah, but I mean, it's
Oh,
not
it's
commonly
The
available.
author, the author, the singer,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I read it.
Speaking at Harvard bookstores?
No, it was Harvard bookstore event, but it was a huge event downtown.
Oh, that's right,
They were like, it
that's
was
right.
packed, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people. But I loved Just Kids,
Yeah.
her first book.
Yes.
The first one got very well.
And the second one is just out, and it was in relation to that, and she was fabulous, absolutely fabulous. You know, unfortunately, the questioners were almost to a person. They probably, average age was probably 24, and they were young, naive, and ill-formed, or unformed.
Ill-informed.
Ill-informed. Well, unformed.
Probably good looking.
No, I mean, the point is, their questions were,
At the very early.
could have been a heck of a lot more penetrating or at least interesting. But her answers were, without fail, stunning. It was absolutely a wonderful experience.
I'm looking forward to reading it.
Really great performer
I
there.
want to read it.
Yeah.
I haven't read.
The Untrained. The Untrained.
Oh, just you can't put it down. I mean, it's just
Knock myself
such a
out of bed.
personal account, and it's not just about her life, but you
I do.
realize
Yeah.
what's going on in New York and all.
Well,
this.
and we're just, I mean, just barely close enough to my own personal experience to be
I like.
so
Tell
profoundly
James
evocative.
who she is.
Yeah, I like that too.
She was a,
How
she
come
was,
I've never heard of it?
Patti Smith was a
New
punk performer, poet, writer, a major cultural figure in the 70s and early 80s.
Yeah.
Popular culture. But, and she was a
Wow, amazing.
a lover and close confidant of Robert Mapplethorpe. And Just Kids, is it's almost poignant and wonderful and closely wrought, carefully wrought evocation of their lives.
An English writer?
You know, as young people coming to New York back in the day.
Very well.
Have you read
That's what you.
the latest
That's what
No,
you.
I got it with the ticket. You had to pay $30, but you got the paper, you got the hardback. Of the M-Train. For the event I went to last night.
Oh, I see.
Seeing her,
She was
in
there.
person.
Oh, yeah, right. Oh, she was there, and what's
She was
the new
downtown,
book?
yes.
And
Oh, really?
I did read.
Oh, she was
you
great.
were-
She was
amazing.
absolutely great.
I love Just Kids.
Oh, wasn't it just wonderful? I gave it to, I mean, I had to judge the person I was giving it to, but I
Yeah.
gave it to.
I gave it to.
Yeah.
I'll put my jacket back
What's
on.
this year? What's the word?
That chair goes under those two pictures.
So
These
I will
students stay
gather
there.
all my stuff together and,
You're getting a ride home with
Yes,
them?
he's getting a ride home.
Okay, 'cause they're going that way. I'm going to give them a ride too.
too late. We've been over.
I just walked.
I got my ID. I made
I
it.
think, I lost my pedometer, I was just cocked of you. Very nice to meet you. Oh, no, fine.
You just have to- oh, yes, thank you so much. I didn't realize.
No.
Well, as usual,
And you're going soon, first.
as usual, thank you so much.
Good night, dear. See you soon.
The,
I don't think we're going away anyplace, are we?
We're leaving on the 1st.
Yeah.
Not for a while, we gotta get the cash adjusted.
Yes, of course.
We have to all settle down together for 3 years.
Well, you've been away a lot.
We have indeed been away a lot, but I think he's this.
Have you ever seen him? No, we probably haven't.
No, I haven't yet, and we're going to. I
Well,
look forward to
It's
it.
uncannily resembles Pedro, which causes a double take with me sometimes.
yeah, they look the
Because I know
same
Pedro
colors
is
as
deceased.
Tiger Cat. But,
Can I,
40 30 to 40% larger, but he doesn't seem very,
you'll see it.
he just seems well balanced.
That's wonderful.
He doesn't seem neurotic.
That's really great.
He just wants to go out, but that's not hard. He wants to go back to one place.
There's one show that we saw 2 days ago, on obviously Meow Meow, which is actually pretty good. It's a cult classic, and it's from Australia. That's pretty good. I don't know about this one,
This isn't an Armenian direction. We have a lot of Armenian music that theater.
In downtown Boston, Meow Meow, if you can get tickets to see that view, especially with there's part of it, it's one of these international videos that was always on something that's set in Paris, Germany, Latin America, and she transforms herself into 1,000 different people, absolutely unbelievable.
The ones that we're seeing, we don't know anything about it, it hasn't been reviewed yet, and it's a small theater. Yeah, it's small, and I don't know whether you would like it or not. I'm not sure.
Meow Meow.
Meow meow. Okay. And
And
where did you first see it?
Saw it, 2 days ago at Arts Emerson, and, the Paramount, obviously.
That was the first time that you knew that you would be interested.
Well, the thing is, I have a very close friend who's working for Arts Emerson, so she gives me free tickets.
Oh. Hey,
So I've seen.
and why not? She
I
was
was
great.
quite impressed. I mean, she sang Surabaya Dani, almost as well as Piaf.
Almost as well as Piaf. Well, what about La Falenia? How did she sing it as well as? Did she sing it as well as La Falenia?
Yeah, you won't see it right after you guys get to. Right after you leave, you said you guys are listening.
Oh, thank you. Oh, excuse me.
Yeah, or maybe you should see Meow Meow and Alice before or something, sometime during the day.
Just call.
Yeah, just call. And he can, take you to Verdicts or someplace like that.
However briefly. Thanks again, Pat.
Yeah.
Okay, goodbye.
Really not
Pleasure,
first
take care.
also?
Enjoy your stay in North America.
Thank you, Pat. Thank you. That was
That's
wonderful.
well.
Wonderful.
They're very nice.
We're close
You
by,
have
we
your
have a car.
Oh, the great
Oh,
spot.
yeah.
Do not forget. Such a great magical plot.
Thank you.
Whatever.
Good night.
Thank you very much, Pat.
Lovely to see you.
Oh, I'm using my car.
I do.
Do you want some rice? Because there's a lot
Very
left.
heavily.
I was
We
also
haven't been around long enough to think about making a meal.
Rice lasts forever.
One of the bigger ones. Thank you.
the best, and then you should go to something better than Little Mermaid.
Yeah,
for sure. It'd be very boring, eh? Yeah, thank you. There's rice. Here, this is